Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Racers Driving League for season number 20, round 21 of the championship. Welcome to Sin City and welcome to the Las Vegas Grand Prix. It should be an absolutely stunning evening of racing, as it always is here in Vegas, and the chance potentially for a championship to be wrapped up once again here as we near the last 6 rounds of the season. There's just 6 more to go, including this one: Vegas, Qatar, Abu Dhabi, Silverstone, the Netherlands, and Austria, to wrap off this season. And what I'm thinking maybe our second to last full-length Grand Prix of the season, because we'll maybe get another one later on the campaign at what I believe will be the Zandvoort reverse race. First cars out onto the circuit. Imrie first car out. Of course, short qualifying session in play. And just looking for another strong result is Imrie after he's had a very strong last month or so. Has the driver in the Kick Sauber. First, third, and second. He's gone a month on the podium, 4 straight calendar weeks, and looking to continue on that run with a good result here tonight. A race which has been done poorly in previous seasons, and yet by sort of late results. We won't forget the controversial end to last season's race in Vegas, where Grumio and Imrie made contact on the final lap, and it led to Imrie spinning out and Grumio coming through to take the victory. So Imrie will be wanting redemption and will be a full 50-lap race. So again, endurance in play here. But it should be certainly very interesting to see how this one plays out and whether it will play out in his favour this time. Of course, he comes into it with a bigger head of steam than he did last season as the next few cars out onto the circuit. I've got Ben with me, but he's gone missing for the minute. But I'm sure he'll be back with us at some point before the end of qualifying. As we get the next few cars out on circuit, TJ and the Red Bull quickly is back on the grid this week, reserving as Grumio's teammate of all places on the grid. So it'll be interesting to see as to whether he can really sort of put a foot in the championship fight between Grumio and Dan. 138 points to the gap there. If Grumio wins the race with Dan off the podium, then Grumio is champion. And at least to get another 12 points on Dan to be crowned the champion of season 20 for the second time in 3 weeks. Of course, won the title in Mexico, we thought, but the addition of 2 extra races on the season's calendar mean that we have the extra races to run. I'm sorry, double check and make sure nothing's going right with the title. Quickly make his way down that back straight, the long back straight down towards turn 14. Of course, big DRS zone in play down there. And obviously we're looking at high speeds going into that braking zone. And we'll see if we can run on board with quickly here for a complete run around the Las Vegas Strip circuit. Of course, designed with a lot of straight line speed in mind. And not using any battery just yet as he comes up through towards turn 17 and into the last corner to go towards turn 1. So quickly starts his lap, obviously heading towards that first corner, keeping the car nice and smooth. Very tight turn 1, sort of evens out a bit through turn 2 and then turn 3. That immediate right-hander waiting for him on corner exit. DRS zone out of 3 and down towards 4. Again, a good overtaking opportunity if you can get things right in the braking zone going down towards turn number 5. The right-hander coming at the end of near the end of the first sector. Here he comes now. And be careful of that outside wall on corner exit. Tough place to go if you get it wrong. 26.1 in his first sector. He makes his way in through turn 6, 7, and 8 now. The Vegas Sphere in play there, and the very shocked looking yellow face is there present as always as Imrie goes fastest. 1 minute 30.292 is the first time on the board. We'll see if quickly can challenge that. Of course, he's been one of the drivers who can sort of keep up with Imrie in his occasional runs in the qualifying so far this season. Of course, this is his first time we're seeing with him on a street circuit, so it'll be interesting to see how he competes there. But I remember hearing from him prior to the Singapore Grand Prix that he was perhaps better on street circuits than he is on purpose-built tracks. And he's done fantastically at tracks like Zandvoort and Monza, where obviously straight line speed is also key there. So it'll be interesting to find out exactly how he is on a circuit that's perhaps one of the fastest ones on the calendar. But out of turn 16 and up towards the line to complete that first run, it's going to be a 1 minute 30.635. And only second fastest, but only down by about 4 tenths or so to Imrie here. Pope in third place, Che into 4th, TJ P5. Then it's Ericsson in P6. So 6 cars have put laps through. Next few cars on circuit. Red J's in again, reserving for Alpine. Cott also in as a reserve. I've got a few more Huff in the Red Bull in place of Curtis, and obviously Quigley's in place there for AT. And DJ with quite a head of steam there going into turn number 7, so it keeps the car under wraps, but definitely one to keep an eye out for. Of course, DJ scoring points for the first time in 5 races last week. 8th place for him in Brazil last time out. Of course, denying the likes of drivers like Alvar. You saw Curtis come in P12. Strategy didn't quite play out for him. Obsessed in P13. Number of drivers who've been looking for points in recent races. Curtis's streak came to an abrupt end in Brazil last time out. Same thing for, of course, Pope and Che. Pope is not with us tonight. Oh, no, Pope is with us now. And Che is in this. Both cars are in the race, but after that collision early on in Brazil, shunting Williams' chances in terms of the fight for the Constructors' Championship. Haas in front by 159 points now. And actually further ahead than Grumio is in front of Dan going into these last few rounds. So it's looking in favour of Haas big time for the time being. See DJ P7 there. 7th of the 8 cars on the board. TJ's there in 6th place, 131.706. Pope's in P3, Che P5, Alvar's jumped to P4. And I'm told we have not got Ben back. So, Ben, looking forward to having you back in here. And yeah, Vegas, it should be an exciting race for us. And qualifying's already got off to a quite close start. Not as close as it was last week in Brazil, mind you, but still, was it in Mexico? We had a close qualifying recently as Grumio blows Imri's time out the water, 1 minute 30.025. But I mean, we had a good race last season in Vegas, for example, so we should hopefully have another good one here.
Yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, we're in for a cracker. Vegas always seems to deliver. It's the entertainment capital of the world, after all.
Indeed, and we'll see exactly who puts all their chips in for a lap later on in the session. There's still 10 minutes to go, so plenty of time for another lap to come through on the board. And we had 11 cars of set times so far. Cott there in P12. He's reserving him for Mercedes in place of Obsessed Gamer tonight. So obviously maybe plan to try to back up Dan over the course of the Grand Prix. But Cott, we know, is quite capable of pace himself. 131.4 on the board. Dan, he gets to come through for his first quality time, but obviously he's stacked against it tonight because he needs to beat Grumio at the minimum to keep things rolling. And to my mind, if Dan finishes lower than 3rd, then Grumio will win the championship regardless of position, because Dan needs to score a solid number of points. If Grumio outscores him by 12, then Grumio is absolutely champion. So I have to wait and see here what the permutations are later on in the Grand Prix. It'll be a long race, and as Dan gets a toe there off of his championship rival, what are you seeing, Ben?
Just saw Lucky Lambert have a bit of a Tokyo drift around the final chicane.
Lucky up towards the line now for Ferrari. It's a 132.8, second slowest time so far. Only Red J's gone slower by about 600th of a second. Ethan, HP Cook, Cottony, JB, and 10th. Yes, at times.
Yeah. Lucky Lambert did end up losing a good half a second during that, so expect him to catapult up the timing team.
10th is on an outlap at the minute. JB is coming out right behind his teammate out of turn 12. So again, DRS play is in effect for the 2 V-carbs as they obviously fight as they are. I'm not sure how well coordinated that was, in all truth, as JB gets around 10th, but I wonder perhaps if that may cost him a couple tenths off his lap time as he makes his way into turn number 14. A very tight braking zone there, the very end of the lap. And of course, the last bit of VRS in play, charging towards the line, but JB could be in for a tough time. As he has been a few times in qualifying this season, unfortunately. But through turn 17 and up to the line to complete that effort, it's a 1 minute 31.501, which is enough for P10 to be fair to him. So I wonder perhaps if that hadn't happened, how much higher up we would have been, because it's still quite close in sort of mid-pack right now. As we've got, looking here, we've got everyone from P5 to P13 covered by about 7 tenths. So it's awfully close right now. But there's a bit of a gap between Pope and HP Cook, who of course won this race last season after the stewards report. HP Cook came through after the collisions between Grumio and Imri. Obviously, Imri found on the order, and Grumio, I believe, got penalised for the run. And as a result, HP Cook came through as the winner.
Yes, indeed he did. For his first win in the RDL. So
we'll see here how he performs in terms of tonight's race. See if he can carry on that same that same run. Sauber have been fantastic as of late, only sitting 10 points now behind Mercedes. Sorry, when a few rounds ago, let's not forget, but it looked like Sauber were out of it in terms of fighting for third. And it looked like it was going to be predominantly between Mercedes and Red Bull for that last spot. But now Red Bull are 40 points back from Sauber and 50 points back from Red Bull. So it's looking more like it's in Sauber's favour at the minute. And I doubt they've got anything left in them to try and chase down Williams for second. I think they'll likely be fighting each other towards the end of the season here, but it's still looking quite tasty in the race for third, but despite positions 1 and 2 being more or less secure at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but it just shows how how quickly things can change in Formula 1, whether it's in real life or in the game. So, well done to Kick Sauber to pull off a massive fight. Obviously, they've done really well in the last couple of races, and I think they're very high on confidence tonight.
So we'll see if they can carry that on in these last 6 rounds. Only got 2 cars left to set lap time. That'll be being Ethan, who's out of lap for Alpine, and Courtney Goldman, who's yet to leave the pit lane, as is the norm for Courtney at this point in the session. Perhaps we'll see him back on the racetrack later on. Of course, Red J is there in place of PJ in tonight's race. Have another run through the reserves. See Cott in place for Obsessed. You see Huff is there in place of Curtis.
This is close. Just look between the gaps between. As it changes around a bit more. Cott, Alva, and Lucky Lambert all separated by 6 1,000ths of a second.
That's ridiculously close in the mid-pack round. I'll give you that for a fact. And we'll see here just sort of how things take up, because they still have got times for another run, maybe even 2 if they're on track now. So it's going to be, yes. It's going to be fun. Qualifying is always sort of fun to just sort of figure out who ends up where in the order. But obviously, it's still our usual suspects in front. Grumio and Imrie up ahead of everyone else. But Grumio this time considerably a couple of tenths ahead of Imrie, which is unusual. Grumio's retired from the session here, so I think he's comfortable with his lap. I'm not sure if anyone's told him that this is still short qualifying for this race. So whether he could have had time for another lap, I'm not too sure. But quickly is still out on track, and Imrie's in the pit lane. I imagine he'll go again. Same with Dan. Huff's out on circuit now. Pope's out on track. Pope's actually improving by 3/10 here coming towards the line. So we'll see what he comes up with as he makes his way in through turn 17. P4 for him. And Pope onto the second row. Quite a way in front of Che, who's there down in P14. But I'm guessing that it's going to go again. Ericsson there, P15. There's 10th Cannon and Red J closing out the order. Huff and TJ, they're P6, P7. What are you seeing, Ben? What's going on?
Not really seeing much on track in the minute. It looks like a few drivers are improving here and there, but I mean, in DJ's case, he improved by half a second. Yeah, it was only enough to take him up 3 places. So just shows just how tight our midfield is and the back can be. I mean, just looking at it now, we've got 3 drivers all in the 31.5s, and there's about 4 or 5 of them just in the 31.3s to the 31.8. So if you find half a second, you can jump up 6 places just like that.
I mean, easier said than done at a circuit like this, where we sort of spend the majority of the lap flat out. But Ethan just jumped up to P8, so clearly a fine example of that as he makes his way out through turn 5. Luckily, a pit this time. And yeah, just waiting a minute here for the next few sort of proper runs to happen. I mean, the majority of cars are just sort of on out laps now, except for, I think DJ's on the in lap, I'm not too ssure.
DJ is on his in lap, yes.
Okay, so in that case, then we're just going to be waiting for the time being for everyone to come back in, and then we'll see cars coming through like another minute left. JB's heading out to the racetrack now, so we'll see what he comes out with. He's currently P13, but he could find himself, as you said, Ben, gaining about 7 or 8 places at max with a half-second improvement. So it'll be interesting to see whether he can. Of course, he sort of... I mean, I've said it for a long time in qualifying. With JB, you never really know. He could either be a dark horse, or it could be anything for JB, in all truth. And we prefer him to be up the front end of the grid, but we can't be we're not surprised to see him really anywhere on the grid. He just sort of takes it as it is, and then we see where he is in terms of the race. But I'll say this: he's definitely adapted to his wheel and pedal setup fantastically, if I do say so myself. Because I mean, even think back to the start of the season, when he was struggling a fair bit in terms of It's just in terms of getting things going. And then you think to now, I mean 3-point scores in his last 5 races, points in Azerbaijan, a point in Texas, and a point in Brazil. So definitely finding improvements and getting back to the JB that we recognise, which is always positive.
Yeah, I think obviously it's taking time, but everything does when you change over from pad to wheel. I mean, I've not changed over myself, but just one thing just out of curiosity is that, have you noticed that Che's down in 15th?
Yeah, I have noticed that, but Che's on his outlap now, so he's on course to try and rectify that if he can. We'll see here in terms of what he's got lined up, because he's going to need something big here to push himself up the order. But as you say, Ben, half a second is all it really takes at this point, and he could go faster than that. We know how fast Che is. Che's one of just 3 pulses this season. It's been a very elite club as the front row of the grid in terms of qualifying, because it's largely been Grumio and Imri dominating. Che's the only one to have got a pole aside from those two. Actually, in terms of full-time drivers, I think Quigley back the pole at Monza, if memory serves. But in terms of full-time drivers, Che's one of 3. So if anyone can do it, it's him, and we'll see what he's got. Into turn 1, keeping the car smooth.
If he finds out for a second, all of a sudden he's now looking at 6th.
Yeah, see, there's big gains then. That's 9 spots. And if he goes more than that, he could find himself in the top 5. We'll just have to see in terms of whereabouts he gains a big chunk of time. Because I just think with Che being where he is now, there's got to be a place where he's likely made a mistake on that first run. As he goes through turn 5, we'll see his first split here, see what it looks like. And he's up by almost 3/10. So it could be general improvements from a banker across the lap. So I have to see here. Goes in through turn 7, 8 into 9. That outside wall taps it on corner exit. It's easily done, but you have to obviously punch it quite hard to take any sort of damage from it as he goes in through the sweeping left and right to the right left of turns 10 and 11. Of course, easy in real life to get that wrong. Think back to the first Vegas Grand Prix, the crash for Lando Norris at that part of the circuit. Quite a high speed crash, quite dangerous for him. And he's chasing now 6/10 up. And not only that, he's got DRS in play and he's got a good toe from that looks like Dan. There we go. So that's worked out quite nicely for the 2 former teammates at Haas from last season, the Constructors Champions reigning on. As they go in towards turn 14. Che's looking good here. I'm thinking he might gain a bit more than half a second, Ben, as he comes out of turn 16 and towards the line towards 17. We're going to see what he looks like for a full lap as he comes up to the line to finish his effort. Majority of cars now at laps, only 30 seconds to go. Qualifying's sprung up on us quite quickly here. Only got 20 seconds left in this session. And everyone's sort of on laps, save for Pope and Dan started his last lap. Pope's coming through to get to start his. And Courtney Goblin may also make it. So we're going to get our last runs in. We're going to see where everyone lines up. And we'll see if Imri can indeed tag at Grumio's time. Imri's down in the first sector, so not a great start for him. But Courtney towards the line, start his lap. 4 seconds to go. And next car to your flag will be one of the Alpines. That is going to be the other Alpine, Red J, up towards the line. He's P18 now. Stays in P18, but finds a bit of time. Next car behind him, the McLaren of Alvar. Alvar goes to 7th place. It's Ericsson through and the other McLaren coming up next up. He's gone into turn 14 now. Steadying things out.
Oh, curve.
A lot of curb in use there.
Too much curve, if you ask me.
Imri's improving now.
Time.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to see that.
Okay.
Ericsson's the line. He lost a lot of time in that second sector. Sorry, in the last sector, apologies. Yeah, you are right, Ben. A lot of curb he took, and it's cost him massively here, as he could have been a fair bit higher on the grid, perhaps joining his teammate in the sort of top 11 or 12 or so. Next car to the line, one of the Red Bulls. That is Huff to the flag. And the reserve lines up P7 at best here. Next car throws one of the Astons. That will be DJ. Imri next to the line. And Imri doesn't improve in the end. 131.8. So Imri's fallen away. Quickly stays in 3rd place. HB Cook stays in 9th place. Next few cars come up to the line. 10th Cannon to P9. Big gains for her. TJ there in P10. Didn't find any much time himself. JB into the pit lane, capping off his last run. Courtney's the last car to come to the line here. It looks as though Grumio's got pole.
Wow.
Pope to P2.
Where's he pulled that from? He was 2/10 up going through middle sector. He must have pulled a heap of amount of time going through that chicane.
Really popped up from Pope there. He'll take P2. Imri in 3rd place, Quigley 4th. Che, Dan, Huff, Alvar 10th, and TJ's your top 10. Courtney Goblin's across the line in P19, stays as he is. But there you go, Grumio on pole. And it'll be interesting. It should be a good, and I'll keep saying it, but it should be a very exciting race. Based off a qualifying. Have a look at the gaps here in terms of the top 10. Top 10 covered by about 1.1 seconds. So Still a bit more in terms of sort of speed. It's going to be, yeah, it's going to be fun, this one. But have a look at your full results here before we go into the brief intermission here. So Grumio takes pole, Pope starts from P2, Imri 3rd, Quickly 4th, Che P5, Dan, Huff, Alvar 10th and TJ your top 10. HP Cook defending winner lines up P11, Ethan P12, Lucky Lambert in P13, P14 goes to Cop, P15 to DJ, JB, Ericsson, Reggie and Cockney Goblin is your bottom 4. But that'll do us then for qualifying, and it's time for the Grand Prix to get underway in a matter of minutes. So time for the Grand Prix to get underway then here in Sin City, the Las Vegas Grand Prix, round 21 of season 20 of the Races Driving League, and we should be in, Ben, for a fantastic race. Las Vegas has always provided such drama for us. It's the entertainment capital of the world, and hopefully it continues to entertain in Formula One as it has done in recent seasons.
Yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, it's proved to be an entertainer last season anyway, particularly on that last lap, which I think it was Imri and Grumio that I want to say went wheel to wheel in that last chicane.
That is correct. They went wheel to wheel going down towards, you'll see it in the bottom right hand corner of the track, down at turn 14, that 14, 15, 16 complex. Contact between those two led to a no score for Imri, a penalty for Grumio, and a win for HB Cook, who finished in right behind him. Hence why HB Cook sits as your previous winner of the circuit on this graphic designed, as always, by our very own JB Racer 1, who puts himself in the bottom 5 on the grid, as far as memory serves a few minutes ago. So there'll be a few stories to see who comes forward in the Grand Prix. And obviously also, we haven't said it much, but the title is again on the line. If Dan can't finish in the top 3 in this race, then Grumio will win the Drivers' Championship. We are 50 laps away from finding out, so plenty to look into. But Dan's got it all to do. He's been chasing it, Grumio, all season. 138 points back. If Grumio can get that gap if he can maintain it at 125, then he will be the Drivers' Champion. If he loses 13 points to Dan, at least, and it carries on. So Dan's got it all to do.
Yeah, he has indeed, but at the same time, he's also got the pace behind him, so we'll see if he can come through. Obviously, he's got a reserve just in front of him of Quickly. He's got one behind him, so he shouldn't necessarily have to worry about those behind. He'll probably be looking forward towards the start of the race.
In terms of your starting tyres, only Grumio going for a set of soft tyres to start us off from pole, and Reggie for a set of hard tyres. We'll have a look at your starting grid. Grumio starts on pole with Pope running in second place. Imri in third, one of the first few times he's been off the front row for a long time this season. Quickly in P4, again, the usual reserve, serving as a thorn in the side for the majority of our front runners. Che in fifth place, and it's Dan from P6, needs at least 3 places in this race to keep things... to try and keep things rolling. If he doesn't, then Grumio is champion. Huff lines up P7, reserving in for Curtis this week. It's 8th place for Alvar, another good qualifying for him at McLaren. 10th Cannon lines up from P9, looking to try and reignite her point streak from the last 2 rounds. Points in Mexico and Brazil. TJ starts from P10, looking to try and spearhead the charge for Red Bulls, try and catch back up to Kick Sauber in the Constructors. HB Cook defending winner of this race in P11. Ethan P12, then it's Lucky Lambert P13 for Ferrari. Ferrari still chasing McLaren. It's the 13-point gap between those two teams. Cott starts on P14, reserving for Obsessed Gamer, who unfortunately is missing this Grand Prix. We know how well Obsessed does around here. DJ P15 points from last week in Brazil. Can he go 2 for 2? JBP 16, and it's Ericsson, Regia, and Courtney Goblin rounded them out. Regia, as I say, the only car starting on the hard tyre in this race. And yeah, it's not really a topsy-turvy order in any capacity, but hopefully it should be an enjoyable race all the same.
Yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, it should be in for an absolute crack around Las Vegas. We normally are in for absolute belter. If my memory serves correct, I believe Grumio started on the soft compound tyre this time last season around Las Vegas.
But obviously, it's a much shorter race that time around, let's not forget, Ben. So whether there's any sort of different strategy in play for Grumio, had to wait and see. We'll see how, I mean, you look at Pope here positioning himself, pointing big time to the right there to try and cover Grumio off should he get the better start. So it'll be tough against the reigning champion on soft tyres. But you never know. Strange things happen at the start. And Pope is a champion himself, let's not forget. It was quite a while ago now, but Pope's still got it in him, as we all made very much aware. But he's yet to win a Grand Prix this season. Only still had a few winners in this campaign. So we'll see if that changes tonight, where the lucky sometimes succeed in Vegas as Courtney Goblin takes his spot at the back of the grid. It's about to get the race underway. It's Grumio with a chance for the championship. Pope to his left for the run to the first corner. Waiting on those 5 red lights here in Sin City, the entertainment capital of the world. Here in Las Vegas, the Grand Prix about to get underway. Lights up to the floor, and it's go, go, go here in Las Vegas. Good start from Grumio. Good start from Pope on the inside. It goes quickly to the inside of both cars. Almost 3 wide at the first corner. Contact between Grumio and Pope. Grumio gets away on the outside of the lead, but it quickly going 3 wide. Pope gets swallowed up into turn 3. Quickly around the outside of 1 car. Can he try and take 2 as well? Can't do it. Grumio clears on corner exit. Pope trying to challenge quickly out of turn 3 and towards 4. And a closer contact again. Pope on the verge perhaps of another collision for the second time in 2 weeks. Quickly side by side with his full-time teammate. And around the outside, trying it contact to the outside wall there. I had to see this damage done on that end that everyone's going through. It's a big traffic jam here through turn number 5. And quickly, I have to see if he's got any sort of damage here early on. He doesn't, so very fortunate to get away with it early on. But it's Grumio who leads from quickly. Pope, Imri, and Huffy now in P5.
Yeah, it's been an absolute disaster for Danny. He's fallen down 3 places on that start. Obviously not tried to get those tyres up into working temperature on the formation lap. It's costing dear. Is that without it's been involved in some sort of incident.
Well, the car's all clean, so hopefully he can try and move forward from here. He's always had pace around circuits like this. There is a bollard that's sort of rolling away. Ooh. There, okay, it's gone now. That's very weird.
Bollard.
And a long run down the back straight here, down towards turn number 14. And a good chance for Toe and ERS being used. ERS management critical at a circuit such as this one. As quickly might try and challenge the inside. Now getting in towards turn 14, which he will. Going into the left-hander he goes. Quickly takes the lead. Pope and Imri side by side behind him, and Imri careful not to battle any demons from last season. Pope slides on corner exit, slightly bit of oversteer there, but Imri might take advantage down the back straight. Well, I said down the back straight, on the main straight here, going down towards turn 1 again. Through turn 17 we go. Imri to the inside, high speed final turn as quickly leads lap 1 with Grumio in hot pursuit, and Imri now challenging Pope to the inside, close to contact again. This time Grumio trying the outside and quickly out of turn 2 into 3, can't do it, and Imri's pushing. It's practically a NASCAR bump draft here as they leave turn number 4. And yeah, fantastic start up front. We'll see what's going on for the back as Che challenges Huff for P5. Looks like Che will win out on this occasion, going into that braking zone, but it's not over just yet. Huff might come back at him on the outside, not to be this time round. But aside from that, everyone's single file down here. Your position changes so far in this race. Not a ton of changes. Quickly he's up 3 places. He's up from 4th. You see DJ up 2 spots. And you see Huff, Alvar, TJ, and Lucky all up 1 each. Ethan's down 2. Not a great start for him either. So no one's lost any more than 2 spots in the start so far, Ben. But obviously things can change very quickly around here.
Yep, absolutely. As we've seen in previous seasons, though, if you fall out of 1 second, that DRS 1 second gap, your race is almost over because it is so hard to get back into a DRS straight around here. DRS is so powerful. Dan definitely did not need that start. That is critical for the championship.
But Grumio will try and respond here, of course. Regardless of whether quickly finishes in front of him or not, Grumio will take full-time points. As we know, the reserves are eliminated from the order post-race to sort of keep things nice and clear. We don't keep many reserves. We don't really keep any reserves in the title fight unless they become full-time drivers, from which point they start scoring. And you see the 2 Haas cars going at it, and Grumio takes the lead back, but quickly make a back at. A bit of ghosting in play there between the 2 race leaders as they come through turn 17. Or towards 17. It's Dan's now in front of Alvar, so 1 place gained for the Mercedes driver as Imri sets the fastest lap of the race. He's right here and he's here to play behind these 2 cars. HB Cook getting the fastest lap for him. He's running P11 right now, but of course he knows his way to win around Vegas. He knows his way to the front, so we'll see how or if he can advance to the field. It's been a stagnant start for him in P11, and Lucky in behind him. Lucky trying to score some points for Ferrari, but McLaren in the points as well. Big chase is required from the Scuderia to get themselves up to the Woking-based outfit in the championship. As I say, 13 points for two teams that have seen points be hard to come by this season. So I'm sure they'll take anything they can get.
Yeah, they will, yeah. So anything can matter when you're down there at the foot of the championship. Lucky Lambert obviously down in 12th in the minute, Alvar up in 8th. Alvar's been on a right scoring streak as of late.
Yep, 2-point scores in his last 5 races, but none in the last 3, 14th, 12th, and 11th in Texas, Mexico, and Brazil. But those
I stand corrected.
So those points from Azerbaijan and Singapore a few weeks ago. March was a particularly good month for Alvar. April, not so much thus far, but we'll see if we can try and maintain where he is in the order now for the next sort of 47 laps or so. There's a long way still to go in this Grand Prix. I'm looking at there's going to be a long DRS train in play here. The only car who's not getting any DRS right now being the race leader Grumio and Red J, who's down 2.5 seconds to Ericsson in front as quickly goes blasting back past into the race lead once again here as they round turns 15 and 16. Again, quickly pulls away on corner exit. Imri's waiting to try and find an opportunity around these guys as Grumio now challenging again the two Haas cars side by side. And Grumio perhaps shouldn't focus too much on fighting quickly because, of course, he only needs to beat Dan in this race as quickly takes fastest lap. Huff takes one for himself, and Huff, again, also here to play with the usual full-timers. Same thing with Quickly as these two go wheel to wheel again for the lead here in through turns 2 and 3. Imri's now on Quickly's tail as they leave turn 3 and in through what is technically turn 4. It's a weird one on the track map here, Ben, because I mean, I don't know if you see it yourself, but turn 4 is marked as essentially the corner exit of what is turn 3. So it's quite weird in that sense, as Quickly narrowly stays in front. Oh, it goes Imri to the outside.
It's nearly 3 wide. Nearly 3 wide going into the game. This could end in disaster.
This could all end in tears for one of these 3 drivers. The only question is which one, if any. Imri looks to be holding his own against Grumio. Obviously, Imri's found another gear of mileage as of late, so he's getting a bit more, fight a bit more with Grumio. As Quickly backs out of it.
Oh.
DRS games in play here, and all of a sudden there's contact in the pair of them.
You got damage?
He might do. There's damage from another car further back. There's Huff has got damage too. Huff may have got caught out in the wrong place at the wrong time. What's happened so quickly then? He's fallen down to P6.
What's happened there?
That's ridiculous. I'm not entirely sure what the game plan was, but that was in quite a dangerous part of the racetrack too. I'm not sure if he's trying to nab DRS, but Imri's now in the lead. And Pope's now challenging Grumio, and now Pope's challenging Imri too. Well, there we go. Pope just sides through to lead, and Che follows him in. So Williams all of a sudden taking advantage big time in the space of just 1 lap, and now we see Pope and Che 1-2.
Yep, exactly. This is just how things can change in the world of Formula 1, but look at this. The top, top 15 all in the same DRS train. It
continues on, and that may have made things a bit closer here and there. Cott's one way a little bit. He's obviously got Ericsson chasing him. Courtney Goblin and Red J in their own train as it was last week in Brazil. You still see him fighting here.
I think TJ's gone off the track.
Oh.
TJ did go miles off the track at turn 1. Went for a send on Ethan, I believe. Oh, what is going off with that Haas?
Quickly continues to fall through the field here. I'm seeing it.
You got a puncture?
He's got a message. I seen a message in the chat saying that Quickly's clutch. This showed the voice like Quickly's clutch was stuck. I'm wondering if he's having mechanical concerns on his pedals, which could play into things. I have to keep an eye on his telemetry and just see as to what happens later on. But quite concerning Quickly that it's sort of backed out during quite a high speed part of the circuit. It could end up a lot worse. I'm unfortunate that no one's out of the race here. But yeah, just concerning. And hopefully he'll if there is concern, be able to get that fixed. But up front, it's still the Williams cars, and now they've pulled a full second on Pope and Che, and Dan is now chasing Grumio. Dan to the outside of the Haas driver, going in towards turn.
Right again.
And here he goes. 3 wide. This is ridiculously close for 5 laps in. You think we're doing half distance, given how much these guys are going for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but at the same time, it's what we love to see, Zach.
Yeah. Actually, you'd think they're doing 5 lappers. We're only 10% of the way through this thing. We've got a long way to go still. If it keeps on like this, then I'll happily sit here for the next hour and a half and watch these guys duke it out. But Quickly up into P12 here, but now 2 seconds back from Cott. So down P16, and with a lot of work to do now in this Grand Prix, and hopefully there'll be no more technical gremlins, if there have been any so far, for Quickly, who's normally a very fast driver and is definitely holding his own in these first 5.5 laps or so. But yeah, I mean, just big concern there for Quickly.
I wonder about Grumio, because obviously he started on the soft compound tyre. He's been fighting an awful lot. Has his tyres been destroyed already? Surely not.
Perhaps. I mean, there's every chance, but I mean, as you said, Ben, Grumio may have started, if memory serves, he started in the same tire last season. So whether he's got the same sort of game plan as he did last season in mind, let's not forget there was a late safety car in that race too. So, or at least if memory serves, I think that's what set up the last restart, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it's just what Grumio's got up his sleeve. We never really we never quite know what Grumio's going to do sometimes. We obviously think back to Imola earlier this season where for the first time in living memory, at least the first time I've ever seen, Grumio essentially took an ego stop, making that extra pit stop onto a set of soft tyres, falling down to think it was like sort of third or fourth, and then blasting up to the cars in front the last few laps and winning that race with ease when he really didn't need to. So you never really know now of Grumio anymore. So we just sort of take it as we get it. And speaking of taking, JB Race is taking 13th from 10th Cannon, and was looking for the same sort of treatment on Ethan and the Alpine in front, but no avail for the time being. So they'll stay as they are, nose to tail. JB, I think, tapped the inside wall there through turn 15. So fortunate to get away with that damage. 10th right behind him as they run through towards 17 again. We're on lap 7 now of this Grand Prix. Quigley is chasing these guys. His second half back from Cott. So getting a little bit in the last lap compared to the cars around him. But I'm wondering, Ben, if you are right in terms of Grumio's tyres, whether or not they start to wear out.
Yeah, it looks like Grumio's pace isn't just there at the minute. It was there for the first 4 or 5 laps or so, but ever since then it looks like it's died off. It's either that or it's got some sort of damage with the contact from Quigley and Imrie.
So the situation now as it stands then, another 12 points for Dan will put him on 302. Another 10 points for Grumio will put him on 438, and the gap there, only 2 points gained in Dan's favour, which means that it's not enough for him to carry on the title fight, and Grumio will be champ as far as we know at this stage of the Grand Prix. Obviously Dan needs to finish in 3rd place at minimum to have any chance, and he's hoping obviously from there that Grumio loses enough points to him in that sense. But Grumio running in P5 right now, so he's doing okay. We're doing what he needs to do for the time being.
I think we may end up getting a bit more of the DRS train yellow flag behind, and that is JB into the barrier.
Around there at turn 14, recovers the car. There's an end plate missing on that RB. You can see it from here, and we'll see if we can get an eye on it when should Courtney Goblin go on through. I don't think he might make the pass, as both Dan and Imrie going out to it. HP Cook passing Huff now for P6. But JB, we'll see if he's got any damage here as he runs down towards the last one. Like I say, the end plate they're missing. Not sure there's anything more than that at the minute. As Courtney goes for it on the inside. JB's left end plate's all okay, so I'm thinking it's just that on the RB. Yes, it is. So, tough break for JB. He's now 4.3 seconds back from Ericsson. Quigley's closed the gap. He's now past Cott and is on the tail of 10th Cannon for P13. So, Quigley's back in the hunt. But obviously, there's another DRS train to catch. Ethan leading that second train. He's about a second off of DJ right now. He's chasing Lucky Lambert for P10.
Yes, absolutely. Looking further just in front is like it looks like Grumio's pace has fallen off quite sharpish, really, to the point where HP Cook's now in his DRS. Now, can he play a factor in the championship?
And at the minute, Grumio is on the verge of having sort of no reply to any sort of rear-wing attack from HB Cook, because he's actually fallen away from Imrie here. He's almost a second back completely. The detection point is down at turn 13, which is just sort of the end of that left curve down the back straight on the actual Las Vegas Strip itself. As Dan goes for a slide there in front of them into... Oh, and a penalty for Grumio here. And that might cost him...
got the corner.
So yeah, so we got obviously evidently then Grumio struggling, as you say.
Yeah, very bizarre. It's like he locked up on the braking, locked his rear axle and just thought, I can't actually manage this. So I wonder if we're going to see Grumio in the next couple of laps.
It wouldn't surprise me if he comes in this time as Pope clears Che for the race lead once again. Imrie around Dan. Grumio now by himself. He's about a second in front of HB Cook, so I'm guessing he may have gained some time and avoided any sort of attack from the Sauber and DRS. And yeah, Grumio's coming
pitting.
And
he had to get rid of himself.
And he's not alone. Huff's coming in too. But Huff's on the medium tyre, so it's a change and made it in play there. Oh, a penalty for Grumio. 10 seconds in the pit lane.
That's a costly error.
And Grumio in sort of he's rarely off his form. It's not often we see this guy losing his cool in any capacity, but that seems to be the case here as Huff makes a change to his front wing and gets a set of hard tyres. Oh, we've got a problem at turn 1. That is... Oh, that's a yellow. I think that's a VSC's out.
Oh, that's Cott.
Yes, VSC.
No,
yes, Cott around the Mercedes.
That is her. Is that her, Grumio?
I mean, he's obviously not going to lose as much time now as he would have done had the race stayed green. But he's still about 25 seconds back from the race leader Pope at the moment.
Yeah, so I wonder what's just happened. It looks like it happened with turn 2 or 3.
Yes, just on the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, so I wonder what happened really, because it was almost like face planted into the wall, so it was a very bizarre incident. I wonder, oh, he's got no front wing either.
And that'll be a concern for the Silver Arrow Reserve.
Grumio's going slow. Grumio's got a puncture.
You're kidding me, I don't believe it! What on earth has he just done?
Grumio's got a puncture.
And we know stimulation damage is on, but as the green flag comes back out,
green flags.
that could be hugely costly for the champion.
Oh. He's not going to be able to get through any of these corners now unless he takes it about 3 miles an hour.
He's going to need a safety guard to get himself back in this race here. That's huge for Grumio. And Dan likely doesn't know what's going on, but he'll be breathing a big sigh of relief when he finds out.
Is he going to make him go onto the pits? Alright.
Green flag back out. Pope leads Che back to turn 1. Take this in, ladies and gentlemen. A rare moment of the 10-time RDL champion, Salve Grumio, up against it. 10 laps into this Las Vegas Grand Prix. That could be a big concern going forward and huge for Dan in the championship. If he can sit himself up and gain those points he needs, Grumio might be in for a tough day where the title could roll on to Qatar next week. The championship might be a foregone conclusion for now, except for the next few rounds.
Turn the car. It's gone straight onto the barrier.
And that's an end plate loss for Grumio too. And it wouldn't surprise me if he goes a lap down. Yellow flag again. That's JB around for the second time here. Another car around at turn 2, claiming another victim. And I'm thinking traction out turn 2 is a concern here. As Cott changes that front wing, Grumio is still soldiering on. He's made it back to the pit lane safely. But look at that.
I see though, because this is an absolute nightmare of a pit lane. No, he hasn't. Oh!
Another shunt there.
Oh no, what a shame for Grumio.
And I think he's going to fall a lap down. I think there's every chance.
Is he going to retire?
I don't think he will.
Is he going to call it quits for tonight?
He's got, let's not forget, he's got a 10-second penalty to serve too.
What a disaster of a 10 laps this has been for Grumio.
So 10-second penalty to be served. I think that with the wing change and a tyre change, and still the pit lane to have traversed, we're going to see Grumio in a rare position here where he goes a lap down and his soft tyres on for Grumio. Wasn't that what got him in this mess?
I thought, yes. Yes, it would have been.
So there we are then. Grumio back to square one and a lap behind for the first time in... I don't think I've ever seen this before. This is a complete rarity from the champion, but he's back on circuit now with a lot of work to do in this Grand Prix to get himself back on the lead lap and put himself in with a chance. But of course, he could still be okay if Dan can't get into third place by the end of this thing.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. It doesn't matter where Grumio finishes. Grumio could finish well outside the points here, and if Dan does not finish third or higher, he's still world champion. But the issue with now Grumio has got is that he is a lap down.
So there's not a lot he can do in his situation right now. He's just got to hope that something happens with Dan. But Dan has been going back and forth with Imri the last few laps, and there's no reason why those two can't go up and try and challenge Che and Pope for the top spots. And HP could leave that train behind them.
Front wing change for JB in the RB.
And on to set hard tyres too. So we're already seeing a number of cars coming for stops. We've seen 4 drivers pit so far in this Grand Prix. Grumio's gone for 2, so it's obviously a rarity in that sense. Red J, everyone from Red J on up hasn't pitted yet. Everyone's still on their same starting tyres. And Pope and Che again going at it. Pope takes the lead. Imri behind him in third place, just waiting for a chance to get involved with these two Williams cars, which he hasn't really been able to do since they took the lead.
Indeed, so Grumio has unlapped himself up to 4th now. He's just unlapped himself against HP Cook. But he's now got a bit of a fight against his hands, Isaac, because he's 5 seconds behind the next car.
Yeah, still a lot to do for HP Cook as he makes his way in through turn 3. Grumio is managed to get around the entire train, as you say. Sorry, I don't know what happened. I sort of just I was in another world. So I sort of carried on from where I apologise. I wasn't all there for a second. Right, okay. I mean, we're back with it, and yeah, Grumio chasing down Dan in 4th place, but albeit a lap down.
Yeah, so the issue that Grumio's got at the minute is the fact that obviously he's a lap down. He will still be getting blue flags, even when he catches up to the leaders. I don't think he's going to have the pace to pull away.
Yellow,
There's
JB
another
around
yellow
again.
flag in sector 3.
JB's had a bit of a scrimmage with the inside wall there. I think he just spun out. No damage done to that guy. He'll carry on, but rough race from so far. And running in P18 is the same thing for Cott, who slides off. Cott keeps it out of the barriers, but I think a big lockup. It's got end plate damage again, so
JB's gone wide.
it's not looking good for a number of drivers here on circuit.
What is going off here?
I'm guessing it must just be, I'm guessing higher tire temperatures. If I had to
Must
put it
be
down to
fairly
anything, 'cause we're just seeing a lot of slides here.
Yeah, I wonder if they're cooking the rear tyres, and obviously we are in a desert, albeit it's held at night, so temperatures are drastically cooler than what it is during the day. Grumio does set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, but it does not really matter at this moment, Zach.
Nah, he's still got plenty more cars to get through, and he's got to pass 4 cars who, pace-wise, especially in the situation we are now, are very much on Grumio's level. And of course, Grumio's not going against him as
It's caught.
Yep, Cott once again struggling here, and a driver, and I don't know, it pains me to see Cott in the situation he's in right now.
Yes, it does say me.
So he makes it through, obviously recovers the car, and Huff is challenging Cottony. Huff gets through. Huff is obviously he made a tyre change a number of laps ago, and obviously changed his wing too. Came in when Grumio came in for his first go through in the pit lane. He's around Cottony now, and he's 6.4 seconds back from Ericsson, the McLaren. But as I was going to say in terms of Grumio's situation, let's not forget. So there's 4 drivers in front of him who are definitely on his level for pace, especially at a circuit like this. And of course, he'll need to give way to them if he doesn't get away fast enough. He may get a penalty for ignoring blue flags. So that's the worry.
Yes, and that's a 10-second straight away. It's not a 3; it's a straight of 10. So that could dearly cost him. If we had yet another incident, I think we have indeed.
Yellow flags down there at turn 3 and 4. That's JB who's
that was
recovered. It's
JB.
still going on. So.
Oh no! Oh, it just gets bad to worse for Cott as he just goes sliding through turn 5.
It's got to be something up with the Merc there. This is not like Cott
What
at all.
take damage?
As he just struggle for these 2 cars in your picture. Slide there from the Mercedes as they run in through turn number 9.
Zach, did we pick up that TJ? He's got damage.
I don't believe we did. If I have a look here,
TJ has now got damage. He's missing his front left end plate.
a collision then must have been taking place around him.
There you go.
And Alvar's in P5, so I think that's something that's happened here. As JB's
Another
got
yellow
off.
flag. Oh no, it just gets bad to worse for JB.
JB and
It's
Cott.
such a shame to see these drivers struggling so much.
At the minute, yeah, I mean.
It's unrelenting Formula 1. This is the sort of stuff that can happen.
Yeah,
Sport is cruel sometimes.
Sport is cruel. 3 drivers currently going bust in Vegas as we speak. These bottom 3 as Cotterill goes on again, gets a penalty for multiple warnings this time.
There we are.
It's been a
That
tough
JB,
day. JB's okay. He's alright. That was just the yellow flag for Cott.
Oh, alright, fine.
Grumio, I'm not actually sure how much he must be gaining, but I'm not sure how much he is actually closing on these top 4. I mean, he's not in DRS range just yet.
Yeah, he's closed up 11 seconds on JB. He's forgot. Yes, another incident. It's it's a Mercedes of Cott again. Oh no. Just gets bad to worse for the Mercedes.
Yeah, things aren't going to plan for the number of cars
Something's
right now.
wrong with this car.
Grumio's got 6 seconds. Cott struggling. JB's obviously down the order.
I wonder if Cott's struggling with his rear wing. I wonder if he's got rear wing damage or something like that.
Perhaps,
He
yeah.
seems to be struggling a lot in the braking zones with the control of that Mercedes.
Not to mention a lack of end plates.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's been obviously fair to him for sort of doing the best he can and just sort of getting around the circuit. Pope's still leading here. Amidst all this, Pope is still in front. Hayes back in the front, back in the lead at second train with Quigley and Alvar giving chase. Quigley obviously has recovered himself massively from that, from whatever happened from early on in the Grand Prix. So fair play to him for getting back up to P6. Obviously can't score points. It's purely prime the line, but obviously looking ahead to... Oh, yellow flag once again for Cot. We're looking ahead to, obviously, to next season eventually when
There's something wrong with
when the 2026 DLC drops.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's, Colt looks like he's about to go that down. What a shame this has been for both Colt and JB, but then also Grumio as well, which looks to be coming back a lot of pace, but is it going to be enough?
Difficult nights for a number of drivers so far. We're only 15 laps into this thing, so we're not even we're over the quarter of the way through, but still a long way to go in this Grand Prix. As again, Che and Pope swap places. Imri's there, and Dan's falling away a little bit here as he watches his reserve teammate on corner exit being backing out, so allow the rest of the cars to lead lap through. He recovers himself. I think Cott's pitting this time. No, he's staying out, but just letting Quigley go. That is Grumio. Grumio is still chasing these guys, but Grumio not making a ton of progress, I don't think, here. Plus, those soft tires are going to start wearing thin again sooner rather than later. Oh, so Cott goes around again. He's in a dangerous place here. It's a blind exit turn 1. And everyone gets through clean. Cott keeping himself to the inside as everyone goes on through. Recovers it. And moves on.
He has got the pit, like, boxes lap icon on his... what's it called, telemetry or something like that. So we are likely to see the Mercedes come into the pits. He hasn't now got no front wing. Just to make matters even worse for the Mercedes. And I'm
sorry, what did you call it?
Is it telemetry? MFD? Something like that, I can't remember.
Sorry, I just wanted telemetry. Is that...
Yes.
Oh, sorry, Che almost went quite wide there in going through turn 12. That was almost a run to the outside wall for him.
Them two have got to be careful because they've got a bit of a train behind them.
And a train filled with a single Imri and a single Dan as they make their way down towards turn 14 again. And Pope will go for his own challenge to the outside this time. Can Imri try and follow him through, perhaps? Didn't try it this time. Imri going for a move. They're side by side through turn 14. A lot of curve taken there for Che. Obviously, forward squeeze onto the curve. Didn't have a lot of choice there. And Dan may try him on corner exit. These guys now nose to tail as Pope pulls away a little bit here. He's about half a second in front. As now Che re-challenging. Imri and Dan following him through. And F1 keeping it clean here towards turn 1. 4 drivers who know how to race each other. And Pope wide,
so is Che.
Imri trying on the inside. Yeah. Another yellow. That is... I think that's the number.
That's car again.
Caught letting cars through, I think.
Yeah, it's just letting him through now.
So the order now recovered then. Pope, Che, Dan, Imri. And with that, Grumio may have closed the gap a little bit here now, but it's still not enough yet for DRS, I don't think.
Yeah, exactly. And you've also got to consider that Grumio has got to stop at least one more time because he's on that soft compound tyre. His Cott is out of the race, and what a shame it's been for him in the first 17 laps. Just could not catch a break.
Tried to persevere. Things didn't go to plan for Cott tonight. He goes down as the first retirement of the evening. Grumio is now right up behind Imri and Dan, so making challenges. Dan's in that third place spot he needs, so right now it's a 15-point swing in Dan's favour. Going to bring the championship get down to 123, which is, again, within what he needs, but he then need another big swing going into Qatar to keep things rolling any further than that. So we are sort of reaching points now where Grumio looks 95% likely to prepare for the championship. The other 5% being things like this. So Grumio definitely in a tough spot tonight, but he'll be hoping that Imri, Che, and Pope can do their jobs and keep Dan off the podium, because that's all he needs right now. And I'll say this, though. It'll be an awkward evening for Grumio to win the championship with stuff like this going on through the field. As opposed to one of the... if I double check the count here. Awkward for him to win the championship in this race as opposed to any one of the 14 wins he's accrued from the first 20 rounds this season. Definitely a weird evening so far, if I do put it that way. But strange things happen in Vegas. But what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, as we all know. So we'll see how things continue to transpire, Ben.
Yep, it's Lucky Lambert does pay. Grumio is now on the back of the top 5 now. It'll be a lap down. How does he go about this? Because he's on aging soft compound tyres. He's got a lot of traffic to work through. Does he just go full on belt it or risk causing a collision, or does he take it easy? He has a massive slide going through turn 6.
I mean, you never really know, do you? It's just sort of you got to take it and see how it stacks up, especially in the situation he's in. But we're looking on at Pope and Che and Dan and Imri and Grumio is like in that train now, but in the train, but not in the train. He goes for another slide there through turn 14, so through turn 12. So he's really all over it right now.
Yeah, like it's such a tough racing, even for like the mental side of things, to be a lap down and still push it on. He's still got so many laps left to go, unless something happens like a safety car. Or,
Sorry, I'll cut you off. It goes down to the inside, going into turn 14. He's got P2. Sorry for I thought he was going for the lead, but backs out of it. Che holds onto it. Sorry, Ben. Please continue.
No worries. It looks like the Williams are playing their cards absolutely beautifully. That being said, though, obviously Dan just got ahead of Pope. It's Pope. Sorry, Che then Dan then Pope. So has that strategy been cut? As Imri's now into the pits.
First of the front runners to properly stop here as Imri makes his way into the pit lane, hard tightening onto that machine. And he is away. Of course, now the thing about it, Ben, they're taking the medium tyres 18 laps here, and looks as though the other cars in front are taking for at least a few more. Is there a chance that the one stop could go into play here, or is that a bit too risky?
No, I do personally think that you can do a one stop if you can stretch out these mediums for this amount of time. Like, say for example, obviously Imri's just done 18 laps. To do 33 on hards, it's not out of the question. Courtney Gobbling gets a 10-second speed in the pit lane as well. So just another race to forget for one of our unfortunate drivers tonight.
And Courtney the wing change here. We're currently running in P16 and still in front of both JB and obviously Grumio as well. Grumio yet to fully unlap himself. He can't really get involved with the field for the time being. He needs to find some sort of opportunity to just try and slip by and then pull away without bothering them too much in terms of blue flags, because that's going to be the big one for them.
He hasn't even got the ERS to play around with. Sorry to cut in there, Zach, but he hasn't even got any ERS to play around with to keep up with the top four.
Dan takes the lead. No, sorry, but I mean, Ben, you're absolutely right in that sense. Grumio is I think he'll struggle to pull away unless he really starts charging that up sooner rather than later. But Dan now in the race lead, being chased by the two Williams cars. So a big swing in Dan's favour. That will bring the championship gap down to 113. As you see, Grumio now in the pit lane once again. Is sliding there.
Oh, he's sliding. Oh.
Another 10 seconds.
Oh, dear.
That might be it. Here it is.
That's him out.
And 20 laps into this Grand Prix, Grumio calls it quits. And the champion out, retired by his own volition for the first time in a long while here. And he'll need to hope that Dan stays off the podium.
Off his teammate as well.
Quigley in as well. Sorry, Ben, you sort of muffled for a second. I couldn't hear what you said.
It's all good. Yeah, he just held up his teammate as well in the pit, so that's going to cost Quigley deep as well.
That's not going to help Quigley's case at all. Obviously, I mean, reserve there, so no constructors points line. But Haas may lose out, or Haas are going to lose out. No points for that team for the first time in quite a while. And Dan is in a big position to try and gain some points in the championship, bring it down to, I can say, 113 if he wins the race. And with Grumio out of the picture, I dare say this race is now a lot more up in the air. And I feel like we may get a fresh winner this season, potentially one of those two Williams cars.
Yep, as Quigley just goes diving around the outside of 10th at turn 7, I want to say, turn 8. Turn 8. So good move there from Quigley on the first hard. Has to get those tyres working up to temperature as Che takes the lead away.
So things continue for that top 3 for the time being. HP Cook still in P4. So that train broke up a little bit here. So obviously pit stops have gotten underway here in Vegas. And we have to keep an eye out on Imri too, let's not forget. Imri currently running 15 seconds behind. I think Dan's two of the 3 cars in the pit lane. So I think Imri's going to emerge potentially in front of both of them here. We've seen in the past how good Imri's pace is through the pit stops, and as a result he can push forward and take places in seconds out for the drivers to then fight back on fresh tyres. We saw it last week in Brazil when Imri took the lead there, and obviously Grumio stretched strategy to beat him in the last few laps, as Imri will come out in front of both Che and Dan by at least 2 or 3 seconds, I think, here.
Yep.
And just Pope staying out on the racetrack.
Yeah, but then also Che and Dan also got to make their way past Ethan as well. So the undercut is powerful. I was going to say that, but I think you read my mind in terms of what you were going to say there.
Yeah, more or less. I just went for the bit slightly more winded way of saying it. I make sure to never say. I try not to say undercut or overcut too much, because I feel like if I say it, they're going to do the opposite and I'll be wrong. And I'm not exactly Murray Walker, so I can't really sort of play it off as if it's like as if it's just a lovable quirk. But for the time being, it's still Pope out front. HB Cook still running that second spot. DJ in 3rd place now, Alvar P4, but there's those 4 cars all yet to stop. Imri's the highest running car who's made a stop in this Grand Prix. It's Ethan in P6, Che, Dan, Huff, and Quigley, your top 10 as they run. Technical in P11, TJ P12, just past Ericsson. Ericsson down to P13. Lucky, Red J, Cottony, and JB is the rest of your running order. Grumio and Cott both out of the Grand Prix. And again, a rare sight to see Grumio out of contention as Pope comes in for a stop.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So let's see if Pope does get undercut by the lights of Train Dan. Whether he's able to close back up is another thing. He's likely going to go onto a set of hard tyres till the end of the race. It looks like it's a one-stop from here, Zach.
Imri fastest lap, and Imri may take the race lead off of Alvar here. As you saw, both HB Cook and DJ also in. Alvar leading the Grand Prix for the first time in quite a while, as far as I remember. I think back to season 14.
I don't think we'll complete a lap though, unfortunately.
All right. Imri goes for it and takes the lead away. So there we go. Then Imri now out front by about 2.5 seconds to Che. Maybe even 3 seconds to Che. And then Dan will take himself back for 3rd place when Alvar pits. And that's enough. That's what he needs right now. At minimum to keep the title rolling. But I'm sure he likes to try and take the win instead. As Alvar rejoining here. So I think he may have disconnected without us realising. But is carrying on as he was. Down in P2 now. And will likely pit this time, I should think. I can't imagine going any longer on those medium tyres. Same thing with Ethan, same thing with Ericsson. Red J expects to go a bit longer. He's on the hard tyres, let's not forget, so he'll probably go a bit further into the Grand Prix than the medium tyre runners. In terms of sort of the offset between the mediums and the hard tyres, not too sure what the difference is there, but I'm wondering sort of how far into the race we can go. I mean, Ben, obviously you said the one stop's very possible here, but I just have to wait and see if there are any sort of circumstances that occur later on in the Grand Prix, given that, JB sort of settled down a bit in terms of having any sort of concerns, and obviously the other two being Grumio and Cott are both out the race now.
Yeah, as I think Alvar has regained control of his McLaren, so that's good news for him. Likely to pit, as you say, this time around. That being said, though, has that disconnection cost Alvar?
It may have cost him a bit of time. Not so much places, because of course Che, Dan, and Imri weren't his race. He's going to stay out again this time, so I think he might be just trying to stretch these tyres as long as he can in this case. As Dan sets fastest lap, 1:34.4 on the board for Mercedes. Che still there in 3rd place. Ethan's into the pit lane, so one of the Alpine making his change. The only Alpine that can score points tonight, currently in the 8th spot. He was in P7, but yet to stop. Ethan scored 40 points this season, 4 point scores from his last 5 races. In terms of results, the last 5 rounds, 10th in Baku, 10th in Singapore, 9th in Texas, 13th in Mexico, and 7th in Brazil. So a good result from last time out. Looking to try and improve on that, as Alpine still chasing Aston Martin, but 8 points in Aston's favour. But Aston not scoring anything right now. Obviously, we're just missing Websy in terms of the running order. Actually, DJ's in P9 at the minute, so he's actually scoring 2 points. And Alpine are going to need Ethan to get something here in this race, as obviously DJ's definitely been fast as of late. Obviously, the points finish was big for them last time out, and obviously Webster took 9th place as well. Webster's been scoring the most of Aston's points this season. We are nearing the half. Yeah. Go on.
No, I was going to add on to obviously Webster's scoring the majority of Aston Martin's points. Another yellow flag in sector 3. Looks like it's JB again.
JB around, yep. Just going to turn that around fast before leaders arrive on the scene.
Dan reclaims 2nd.
So a pass play once again then, as now Pope also going through from Alvar. We'll see if Alvar stops this time. He's also got Huff up his chuff as they go in through 14, 15 and 16. See what I did there? Alvar looking for the stop this time potentially. Let's see if he comes in. And yes, here he goes this time. As Imri sets fastest lap himself, 1:34.3. So faster than Dan, but I think over a 10th and a half based on what I saw last lap.
I think Imri's just got to play his cards right now. Obviously, we're seeing Imri is rapid when he gets into clean air. He's currently on a couple of laps older than those around him. So I think he just needs to pace manage it now. Keep those sides under control. Don't overheat your tyres. Don't wear out your tyres too much. And just keep driving at a consistent pace to the point where Dan, Che and Pope all can't catch up.
Well, he's on course as it stands. Obviously, still half race to go, but he'd be looking for his 3rd win of the season. Victory in China, victory in Singapore, which was obviously our last 100% Grand Prix 4 weeks ago. And now here in Vegas. So these full-length Grand Prix starting to appeal to Imri a bit more, I think, in terms of results. And I think the fact that in both races, Grumio has not been a particularly notorious threat in either Grand Prix. It's definitely played into his hands. Obviously, Grumio went down as a 15th place finish in Singapore a few weeks ago. Of course, the victim of a late collision with Obsessed Gamer. on a late safety car restart. I think it was just about 4 laps to go in that race, or however how many. There were very few laps left in that Grand Prix, and obviously in this case, this is something else entirely. Grumio sort of on the soft tire, obviously on the soft tire at the start, made a change onto a set of mediums, got that puncture, which was definitely unusual, but must have done something to make that happen. I guess he must have tapped the wall somewhere, and then had to wrestle the car back around, spun a few times the way back through, put himself on another set of soft tyres, came into the pit lane, spun on the way through, got a 10-second penalty, and that was the end of his race. So, for those of you wondering why Grumio is where he is, that's the story for you, and we're halfway through this one, and Imri is looking to go unchallenged if he can, although Che and Dan are going to both start bearing down on them sooner rather than later.
Yes, I wanted them to using each other's DRS again, just try and close back up to him if they can. Not to mention there's a bit of a fight going on from 7th, 8th and 9th. 10th looks to be a lot faster than DJ in the corners, but can't quite get past the Aston Martin.
Obviously, DJ getting DRS off HB Cook too, and that kicks Sauber, who himself is about 2.8 seconds back from the Haas of Quigley. The lone Haas left in this Grand Prix is the one that can't score points, as we know. Huff is about 4.7 in front of him, P5. We'll see the full-time drivers get promoted up in the standings that stand right now. So, actually, in this case, as we go at the minute, Lucky Lambert, as we run live, will be gaining 1 point on Alvar. So, 1 point for Ferrari over McLaren, bringing that gap down to 12 with 5 races left to go. Yeah, I mean, you never say never in Formula 1. A big score could come later in the season. You think to the reverse group finale, it will be Austria reverse, and Austria itself is always a chaotic race, so we may see more chaos there. And obviously, we've got an interesting run. For the first time ever, we've obviously got our 3 reserve tracks ending off the season, thanks to the circumstances, with the lack of announcements for the 2026 DLC, which we're hoping we'll get something for tomorrow, if we're lucky, based on the fact that they almost always put their news out on Tuesdays. So, Tuesdays or Wednesdays, those are the key days we often see for that. So, we're hoping. Well, we don't know anything yet, but we're definitely hoping.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. This is why they're just straight up release the 2026 DLC now. You never know, EA, I think, obviously, EA they're in command of a few games, notably, obviously, F1. Whether we hear anything tomorrow is another thing, but at the same time, it could be a week on Tuesday, who knows.
Lucky Lambert into the pit lane here, sacrificing that last point. He's out of the race. Oh, well, that's... I mean, he's got damage. And that'll mean, unless Connie Goblin can push forward, that'll do it then in terms of Ferrari's point scoring chance in tonight's race. That ended very quickly. I'm not sure if he heard me in terms of the situation there for points. But Lucky Lambert is out of the Grand Prix now, our 3rd retiree in 26 laps, and hopefully when he rejoins, he won't get in the way of when his AI rejoins from the pit lane, he won't get in the way of his teammate too much, as already leaving turn 2, so no real concern there for the moment. And Imri is in control of things right now. He's 1.7 back, so Dan's been closing the gap, and as you say, Ben, the teamwork between these two on offer is immense as they run down towards turn 14 again, down the hotel strip, and there goes Che making the pass on Dan for what is 2nd place. Pope is 3.9 behind, so in a minute it's for Che, he's either got to help bring his team back into the battle or try and push forward and try and catch Imri. And I can tell you right now, if I was in Che's situation, I know which outcome is more tempting.
Yeah, I think I'm reading your mind, Isaac. That being said, though, they have gained 1.5 seconds. It were 1.7 just at the end of the straight, but unfortunately, due to an error, Che has now lost 0.3 of a second. So let's see if these two can work together. Obviously, they are in different teams now, so who knows what could happen.
But as I say, the team that won the Constructors' Championship back in Season 19, Che and Dan for Haas. And Haas set to go back-to-back as it stands right now. But at the minute, Williams are making gains in the Constructors. Obviously, lost out a fair chunk of points last time out thanks to that collision for Pope, which unfortunately caught Che in it and brought up that red flag in last week's Brazilian Grand Prix. As it stands, that team is currently gaining 30 points to bring the gap down to back down to 129, which I think is more or less the same sort of number of points they lost last time out. I mean, actually no. And saying that, they'll end up gaining. They're actually 5 points closer than they were before the start of the Brazilian Grand Prix as they stand right now. But obviously, a win will do wonders in that sense. They'll be gaining 37 points if Che can come forward and win the race of Pope still in 4th. So, never say never, as we know. So, let's have to wait and see as to if Williams can pull anything back. But Haas are looking more and more likely by the round to scoop up the Constructors. Obviously, the 1-2's in play. 43 points for a 1-2 finish. and it'll be 86 points needed to clinch with 2 rounds to spare. So if they're 86 points cleared by the end of the race at Silverstone, then they'll be champions.
Exactly, yeah. I'm just thinking for the upcoming races, obviously Austria versus quite a flowing circuit, almost likely going to be a 2-stop race as well. Tyre wear is significant around there, so it will be a 2-stop race guaranteed, unless you really want to try and go for a 1-stop, in which case good luck to you.
Half into the pit lane here, they're going to change onto a set of hard tyres. It's going to rejoin here in what looks to be around P12, P13.
Gap
No,
1.4 out in front, Zach. Sorry to put in.
Sorry, I missed that.
Gap 1.4 at the top 3 now, so the gap is coming down quite a lot. Looks like the team working yet again.
So it's going to be interesting now. We'll see as to whether Dan or Che can get themselves a bit more involved in the race, in what will be a race for the lead, if they can get themselves close enough. I dare say they're probably still a few laps out from any sort of major attack, unless we see a mistake from Imri, which have been rare so far this evening. By the way, we've still got 22 laps to go. We are in the second half of the Grand Prix. Things will start to get a bit more interesting over the next sort of 20 laps or so, and we'll see who's got the speed.
Who's got speed, who's got the strategy, who's got the mentality to go out there?
Che blasting past Dan. Now this is spinning over once again. Yellow flag. That's one of the Red Bulls off. That is TJ. He's gone off. Recovers the car. Slots himself into traffic quite nicely.
Any damage? No damage done to that Red Bull, so it looks real good. Well, be it, he has got Alvar right behind him now.
So Alvar will look to try and get P9 back off of the Red Bull. DRS in play. Nothing for TJ to respond with. Not using any battery for the time being. Now there's Alvar, but Alvar's got that rear wing open. And he's got Ethan running him down as well. Of course, Ethan looking for some points here. DJ running in P7. So Aston actually gaining on Alpine once again. So DJ doing a fantastic job here in Websy's absence to get some points on the board for the team. HB Cook also in P6 there. And again, gains for Kick Sauber. 33 points going their way as things stand, which will put them, definitely in front of Red Bull. But I think that, in front of Mercedes, sorry, I think that will be by 8 points.
Yep.
Yellow flag again, and that is JB's backing off to allow that train through. And Che is now completely caught Imri. So here we go now, 3-car race for the lead with 21 laps to go. It's anyone's race here. So only hoping these 3 keep it together, keep it nice and cool. But 3 cars, 3 drivers, 3 different constructors, and all to play for here in Vegas.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, we could also see numerous squabbles for the lead here and there, but then at the same time, we've also got squabbles all the way down the grid. Obviously, we've got one down in 6th in a minute between DJ and Cook. 10th not too far behind. And then we've also got TJ, Alvar, and Ethan.
So still plenty to fight for then. And yeah, Ethan actually right behind these guys, half not too far back either. So a nice little 5-car train. Ericsson 25 seconds back from these guys, so no concern for the time. He's more or less locked in P13. And I'll say this, a safety car will make this race a lot more interesting, because when you look at it, we've got majority of cars on the hard tyres, everyone except for JB. I've just got the one penalty in play right now. That's Courtney Goblin's 10 seconds, which he'll lose, which will get off him at his next stop. And I think a safety car bunch everyone together and definitely make this race a lot more exciting than it already is.
Yeah, well, yeah. Obviously, it's Vegas, so you don't expect any weather, but I've seen actual live streams before where it's been chucking it down here in Vegas, so guaranteed that there's no weather coming just yet, but obviously you can't tell with it being in that race.
So to see if there's any sort of intrusion from the rain, whether Mother Nature tends to intervene in a race such as this. And Che will be looking for an attack.
Just ask Pope.
Dan doesn't beat it to him.
Just ask Pope. He'll know exactly what it's like to have rain come down on last lap, completely ruin his chances of victory. That's my chance flashback.
Was that last season's finale you're referring to?
No. I was more referring to Azerbaijan.
There you go. Okay, yeah. Oh, right, intervening to... Okay, I remember now. My memory is bad. I don't know what I need it to be.
It's fine, my memory is just pretty decent, that's all.
Well, that makes one of us. Right, corner exit out of turn number 16. And Imri still holds the lead, but Che got a bit close to him that time. I wonder, though, if Che... whether he'll go for it immediately or whether he'll bide his time and wait for Imri to make an error. Dan's in a good spot here, but the more these guys fight, the more chances that Pope closes in and puts Dan's title hopes at risk here. So I have to wait and see as to whether Dan does close. Sorry, whether the Pope closes the gap. He's 3.7 back here as he goes in through turns 1 and 2. Dan's 3.5. He's getting a bit now. I think because Dan's in a train, Dirty Air not really in his favour. He's going to try and get around these guys as Che might go for a move on the inside. Nope, not showing it yet. Looked to the inside for a split second. Thought better of it. Stays in line for the time being as Imri continues to hold the lead here. He's led the majority of laps since he's led every single lap since the pit stops here. He's up to... He's done 12 laps on those hard tyres, and we're thinking he's still going to have to go to the end. Obviously, he pitted the earliest of the top 5 runners in this race, so you're looking potentially at the longest stint of anyone in the field. But Red J's still been on the same tyres since lap 1, so he's done a fantastic job. He's done almost 30 laps on those tyres, so good play to him.
Oh, that's it, right? There's a back of Che.
No damage done, but things getting quite dicey here as Che may have his first real opportunity at a pass for the lead here. DRS will be in play. He can go for it completely now. And open goes the rear wing and charging down towards turn 14. Lead change here for Che, who gets in front as my game lags at the worst possible time as the move's being made. Che recovers the car, or there's nothing to recover. He's in the lead now. Che takes P1 back, and Imri now finds himself back in the middle of the train as Pope now 3.3 behind. So these three fighting will open up the door for the Season 11 champion to close that gap.
Looks like DJ's shaping up a move on Cook now as well. DJ up to 7th, 6, sorry. DJ is on a flyer. Doing
fantastically in this Grand Prix here as he leaves his way out of turn number 6. So no, into P6, sorry. That was odd. HP Cook there behind him in P7, so the fight's not over just yet, but these two by themselves. 10th Cannon sits in P8. He's about 6 seconds in front of Huff, who still leads that train with Alvar, TJ, and Ethan. And that's all of them for the time being in terms of that little group. Ericsson still by himself. It's another 10 seconds back to Red J. Cotley Goblin P15 with that 10-second penalty to think about, and JB, to my mind, I lap down. So difficult day for him as well.
Yeah, really difficult day for the that particular RB. Obviously on the other side of the road, it's looking really good so far. They've only got the one reserve in front of him, obviously. 10th has got Huff right behind. So well, I said right behind, 6 seconds behind. So it's likely only to pick up the one position, but every position matters in Formula 1 and particularly in the RDL.
2 reserves in the top 10, so obviously it still go down to P12 as things run. So Ethan gets the last point at the minute. TJ will get 2, then it's 4 for Alvar. Dan taking the race lead now. Good eye, Ben. Oh, slide for Che. That was a moment.
Che's having numerous amount of slides going through that chicane. It's only going to be a matter of time before he actually hits the wall and completely wrecks his race.
Dan now pulling away to about a 4.5 advantage, 4/10 advantage. Che into turn 1.
Massive block up from Dan.
Big lock. Just in general, we're sort of reaching that point now where the tyres are going to start hitting the cliff. Maybe start hitting the cliff a little bit. Not too sure. I mean, we're thinking they can go to the end on these things potentially. Whether they'll stop again remains to be seen. I mean, whether they can afford to stop again. I imagine pitting from here, you'll rejoin most likely around sort of, I should think no higher than P7, if I had to guess.
I think I want to say it's 20 seconds around here for a pit stop. Some of the normal racing conditions, you're probably talking outside the points, so it's well out of the blue unless we get a safety car now, which would definitely spice things up.
But everyone's kept things nice and clean in this Grand Prix, save for the obviously in terms of fighting each other clean. There's obviously been our fair share of spins this evening, courtesy mostly of JB, Cott, and Grumio, which again still feels weird for me to be saying for those 3 drivers. But the chase still continues on up front, and further through the field, we'll see if there's any more chaos going on. That little train is split up a little bit here. Huff still leads them. He's now a second 1.4, 1.5 in front of Alvar, and he's still seeing TJ and Ethan in tow. In tandem at the minute. Both of them are in DRS range as Red Gem exchange on set of soft tires. He's going to go to the end on those, I should think. We'll try and go to the end on those. I can't see him making a second stop in this Grand Prix from here. Not with 18 laps to go. But at the minute, things have quietened down. And save for this fight up front, it's just looking like everyone's content to sort of follow where they are. and see where they end up. And obviously a safety car will change that massively, as obviously Imri now sitting in third place from leading the way to now chasing these two former teammates. And Dan's going to want that race win off of Che in order to try and close them as many points in the championship as he possibly can.
Yeah, Dan will definitely be aware of that. He has to take full advantage tonight. This is the one and only time when Grumio cannot actually challenge him, so he has to take full advantage of it. He can't make any slip-ups.
Certainly a rare prospect, and one he's got. Yeah, he's got to take advantage of this one, above all others perhaps. And I mean, Dan, remember, he hasn't won here in Vegas before. He's been up front, but hasn't managed to take victory since his sort of surge forward in performance. As yellow flag again for JB, who recovers the car.
Brief.
Just a mere slide there. No real concern for the time being, as we still see Che continue to lead, but we might get a change this time, Ben, as they run down towards turn 14.
Looks like we will. Yes, we will. Down around the outside takes the lead away.
Cool as you like there from Dan. Moves in front before they even reach turn 14. So nice and smooth for Mercedes driver. Once again, finding himself back out front. And full points for Merc. Good for them right now. And at the minute, actually pulling in front of Sauber's point gain this week from this evening's race. 15 points for Imri, plus 8 points for HP Cook makes 23. Dan scoring 25 right now. So the gap to Mercedes now, as it stands live, 12 points for Mercedes to kick Sauber in third and fourth.
Nevertheless, it's been a great showing from the two kick Saubers.
And the fight's not even over yet. Still plenty of time to things to go even further in that sense. It'll be interesting to see if they can actually close the gap and get back that third place that they had at the early portion of the season.
Absolutely, yeah. It didn't start off particularly well, did it, for Kick Sauber? I'm talking about Melbourne in particular.
Particularly, yeah, it's the difficult race for those two. Obviously, the retirement from HP Cook and the crash between Imri and Websy. Things didn't go to plan in that Grand Prix for them, but they've certainly come on leaps and bounds since then. Obviously, Imri won the very next race in China for his first point score of any capacity in the season, but the sort of early to mid portion of the season, things didn't go to plan for the Green Machines, but since sort of around Hungary or so, they've come back on a tear. Obviously, it's taken Imri a bit longer, but he's come through, as I said at the start, at the top of the broadcast, had a very, very enjoyable last month or so. Victory in Singapore, podiums in Texas, Mexico, and Brazil. On course for another podium here. The question is, which position will it be?
Yeah, I think it's... Obviously, Pope is 3.2, 3.1 behind now. Unless the top three start squabbling like mad, I can't see him catching up as DJ re-irritates HP Cup for 6th place.
Another good move from DJ, who continues to push forward in this Grand Prix. He's about 6 seconds back from Quickly. Quickly sort of been by himself here, and a rare moment where that reserve has been pacified after being so strong in his earliest appearanrances as a reserve in this league. It'll definitely interesting if he gets a full-time seat for next season, whether or not he can take it to Grumio over a full season, or whether he can take it to all the front runners over a full season. So a lot to keep an eye out for season 21 whenever it starts, as we look ahead, as I say, to the DLC in 2026 later on the year. TJ and Alvar go battling for his P10 in the order, and this train come back together again.
Ethan's casually waiting in the shadows as well. I'll see what these two can specify.
Just biding his time, waiting for an opportunity to make the pass. As Alvar again closes back in towards the braking zone. He won't go for it just yet. Plays it tactical, keeps himself in line for the time being. And I'm guessing we'll try and set himself up for a much better run down towards turn 14. But it's going to be difficult. I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to if things stay as they are up front, I'm looking forward to this final lap, especially if Pope can get involved. He's now 2.8 behind. So Ben, I dare say he might have heard you in terms of closing in. Which is a rare positive example of a commentator's curse, if I do say so myself. But Dan pushing in front of Che, and the passes here are just so effortless going down towards turn 14. We've seen it across the entire Grand Prix here, and it will come down, I think, to who's in the catbird seat going down towards turn 14 on the final lap to see who'll win this race. Because I imagine that all three cars will have battery chalked up to the maximum. They'll have it fully charged for the run towards the checker flag on that last lap, and you can make a case for any of the top three, maybe even four, winning this Grand Prix. You never really know.
Yeah, you never know. This is what we love about Formula 1, in particular the game as well. Catch a curb wrong though, and it could be disaster. So we'll see what happens, see if these drivers have got the physicality. Obviously, tiredness will play into effect around about now, because we're into last 12 laps or so. You're starting to become a bit tired. The brain's starting to go a bit as well, as it looks like we've made just an error from DJ on slightly wide from turn 3.
And he might try and take advantage this time, but I think same thing as it was with Alvar lap ago. I think it's better a bit. Alvar still in behind TJ there, so no progress made for that McLaren. Ethan, by comparison, is almost right behind him, so may go for a move himself. It's going to be interesting to see what he does in this situation. As we see this little 3-car train continue on. TJ in control. Well, obviously all 3 of them scoring points, as I say. It's just a matter of who gets what, where they get distributed come the end. And we're on lap 37 of the Grand Prix. We're coming to the line. We have 13 laps to go, and Pope is again closing the gap as Che makes another pass on Dan. Because the pass is so smooth and streamlined, there's no real fights going into turn 14. So as a result, there's no gains that Pope can take advantage of just by being by himself. He's got to rely himself on pure pace and just try and push forward. He's now back up to 3 seconds again. So I think it's going to be. It's not a matter of when. It's a matter of if for Pope for the time being. But we'll see whether it changes or not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it looks like these two are gonna these two down in 6th and 7th, respectively, are gonna carry on fighting until the very end of the race. There looks to be nothing between them.
There really is. It's going to continue on. And obviously, we've got a number of fights to keep an eye on here at the very end of the Grand Prix. Alvar's now in front of TJ, so the pass has been made there for P10. And it's just aside from that, it's got a number of cars by themselves here. Obviously, Ericsson 30 seconds now behind Ethan. Cotney 28 behind Ericsson. Redjay's right behind the Ferrari. And JB himself 51 seconds back from the next car being Redjay. So yeah, it's been a mad race here, and it's not over just yet.
We've still got another 13 laps left of this, so albeit the laps are ticking by at a rate or not, but that's just because of the entertainment that we've been provided here tonight.
It's absolutely fantastic, and we've still got no clues who's going to win the race. But the question is whether we'll see anyone go for that late sort of push on another set of tyres, because that might change things completely. I mean, we feel like obviously the feeling's quite strong that they can get to the end on these tyres. The question is, will they bother?
If I was the driver now, I wouldn't risk it. I think it's too little, too late on. If you really wanted to go for it, should have paid about 4 or 5 laps ago.
There we go. Then there's your analysis opinion from Ben there. Obviously, in terms of tyres, Josh G, despite Ben's relationship with tyres, I value his opinion in that case much more than my own. So we carry on as well. Sorry, you will not say
you always guess it in.
I'll find a way. I'm creative. I try and work it in whenever I can. You know what I'm like. Hey, DJ passing HP Cook again. These two continue to scrap on. As car in the wall, half in the wall.
Oh no!
Out of turn 14, safety car is out. There it is.
Safety car deployed.
And that came out of nowhere.
This is going to change things.
And that's going to change everything. Never mind just things, Ben. We're all of a sudden we're in for a pack race and what could be a very interesting finish. I dare say we'll probably see everyone bolt on a set of softs or mediums. The question is what do you go for, Ben? Softs or mediums? Will the softs last?
Well, we saw it with Grumio. Obviously ended up getting a puncture. Those tyres died after about 6 laps. So I think the right call is to go for a medium.
No. He was on a set of soft tyres. He got set of mediums. He got that puncture on the VST lap. That was almost immediate.
Yeah, but
I think he hit the wall.
At the same time, he must have hit the wall somewhere. I think the first thing that Grumio did, I think he ran the set of softs and they just died after about 6 laps.
Yeah, so yeah.
I think the right call is just to go for a set medium.
Well, I mean, we'll see who's got what left. I mean, tyre choice should be quite wide because everyone's only sort of used the other one set of tyres today. Everyone down to, I mean, the top 8 have made just one stop today. Alvar, TJ, Ethan have made changes here. Ericsson's made his change onto a set of medium tyres. So a number of cars going at it here.
Sorry, I've just nearly seen Che run into the back of Dan at pretty high speed. So Dan slowed it right down. The problem that Williams have got is they're only separated by, if my maths are correct, 4.3 seconds. So they may end up holding each other up in the pits. It's
going to be close here, but I think things will be so tight at the end of the race that honestly it may not have as much effect. We'll see where Che comes in and we'll see when Pope joins him. Che is into his pit box. Pope might get held a little bit. I can't imagine being in for ages. It's an easy stop there for the... that's just hold there. Oh, man. Yeah, he sort of
I just had a technical glitch. Oh, wow. Okay, that was a very quick pit stop
makes up
from
for it. Yeah,
Williams to
there
the
we go.
point where
Yeah,
he jumped forward.
So things look all smooth there. No real concerns for the Williams team. They're going to emerge as they were. Dan in the lead, Che in second, Pope third. Sorry, Eatonry third,
Chase
Pope
on
fourth.
hards.
Quigley's made a wing change. So Quigley's going to hold on to P5, as obviously DJ and HB Cook were both behind him by quite some way. But change made for HB Cook. He's away. And DJ out in front of him. 10th cannon sets soft tires. Ambitious there from the V-Cob. From V-Cob's most recent podium finisher.
Fair enough. Well, you might as well go for something.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
I think those who have chosen, so when you first load up into the lobby, you get a choice of the tyre allocation. If you go harder on the allocation, obviously you get 2 sets of hards during the race. I think that's what's happened between DJ, Cook, and I want to say Che as well, because they're all on a set of hards.
So things are gonna get very tense here. We're gonna have 10 laps to go when they cross the line. Obviously, we're gonna have to wait for them to come back through. The next last car to jump to the train will be Cottony Goblin, who is going through turn 14 as we speak. I mean, the leaders are going towards turn 13, so we may not get going for another good 2 or 3 laps or so. We've got time for everyone to close to get back into the train. JB, to mind, won't get his lap back, so he is stuck where he is here. Stuck where he is. Sorry, did I say stuck where he is? I don't know.
Yes.
Okay, well there we go then. Look, it's been a long race. This is longer than we're used to. I shouldn't be saying that. We've been doing these full at the Grand Prix for like 2 or 3 seasons at this point. But Dan is obviously showing the way. Che on a set of hard tyres, so a different change in play there for Che. So I'm guessing. I'm guessing the only reason for that he must have not had a set of mediums available that were fresh. I can only guess.
Yes, indeed. So I know we're deviating a bit from the actual race itself, but we've had breaking news from F1 themselves. F1 makes several changes to adjust the new engine rules because of Ollie Behrman's crash back in Suzuka. Looks like they're changing a numerous amount of things.
You know, I saw that myself earlier today. I mean, it'll be interesting to see as to whether they have any effect on the sort of the large outcry of concerns so far from the season. Why is my game frozen?
I don't know. You aren't disconnected for me, so
I'm back on. That's just very strange. I don't think there's so many cars bunched up. I've got no clue what's going on with this thing anymore. But yeah, hopefully it all cleans up for the restart. Yeah, that was very weird. We carry on as we were. I've got to figure out what that is. But yeah, I mean, at this point, Dan's championship is still kind of in jeopardy because at this point there's now nothing stopping him from slipping from 1st to 4th on his last restart, and as a result losing out on his chance to drive his championship. So Grumio, if he's watching on, you've still got a chance to win the championship, mate. For the first, I mean, this happened before to him, I believe, back in, I think it was season 15 or 16, or at some point F1 23, a crash on a safety car restart that took Grumio out of the contention. One of the large chances that brought out one of the RDL's first red flags in history in terms of like actual game-enabled red flag, and he still managed to win the championship just that race. When that was a race that PJ Caleb went on to win his only career victory to date, as Landlord wasn't able to score enough points to help close in and keep things rolling to the last race. But Dan is in the same sort of spot here where he could still lose out, and Grumio, despite not being in the race, could wind up with an 11th championship.
Yeah, it could. It would be a very bizarre way to win the championship, of course, but he's built such a mathematical advantage over the rest of the field. It has been proven difficult to stop, and maybe after tonight, impossible.
A bit of an update on Ethan Quigley's situation. In terms of what we saw earlier on in the race, the big concern for him was obviously he just sort of stumbled and fell through the field for a good few laps there. Turns out he lost his brakes on the opening laps, and he had to reset his pedals manually to sort them. I mean, he's done just fine since then, and he's still got a chance of winning this race, I'd say. It's not over yet for him. We may see him come blasting through the field. He's got 4 spots to gain in a minute 8 laps, which could be 7 or even 6 when they get Courtney going back in the field. He's still on the other side of he's still halfway down the circuit, so not gaining much. I wonder perhaps if this thing might get going without him. I'm not sure how long the safety car will go before it goes again, but
like to think it'll be next lap he comes in.
But hopefully we still got enough for a quick, fast finish. And I'm wondering perhaps if things might start to play. I wonder perhaps if the less laps we do, the more it might play into 10th Cannon's hands, whose tyres will be best suited for a short run. Because obviously it's not going through them too much while we're behind this safety car. And same thing for Red J and JB. Both those two are currently a lap down each. So not too sure what the plan is now. And we'll see from race control when they come through to complete the second sector here. Nothing yet. So it looks as though we're going to wait till Cockney Goblin comes around for at least another lap here, I should think. Unless he catches up in that time. In which case we'll be on course for a start. And we'll have 8 laps to go in across the line. Dan is in the lead by some way here. Che's backed off massively. The rest of the train is in behind him. Yeah, it's just...
So they're struggling to get heat into those temperatures because they all like, what's it called? They all look like they're lagging, they're moving across so aggressively left and right.
Enough for now.
So with that, all my internet's gone.
Say sorry?
So with that, all my internet's gone.
I should think your internet's alright because I saw it too, but not to worry. If your internet had gone, you wouldn't be able to see it. That's the only response I've got for you.
Well,
I think Red J's
that.
unlapping himself at the minute. He's just working on getting himself through. So whether he'll go through on the restart, I'm not too sure. Whether he'll get a penalty for passing the safety car, I don't know. Just seeing here.
I don't think the game's that.
Not sure the game's
It's a game that's sophisticated to allow them to go by. I know they do it in real life. I don't think there's an option in game to do that, I'm afraid.
Not as far as I know. But Cockney Goblin's catching up. I wonder if he catches up later in the lap, we might get a start here. But he's really pushing on those medium tyres. He's booking it round to get through. He's only 600. He's only 600ths of his best lap in the Grand Prix so far. So clearly he's got some pace left in that Ferrari. And
He's going for it.
And he's on the lead lap. Let's not forget. Huff is obviously out of the race, but quickly still in the top 10. So 11th place finish could get Cockney some points. He's in P13 now, 2 places. Doesn't seem like that much to ask in these closing laps. So it could still work out quite nicely. But McLaren have got both cars in the points there as well. Alvar will be scoring 6 points, and it'll be 1 point for Ericsson. No, sorry, no, scrap that. That is, no, I'm still right. No,
You're right.
4, I'm not wrong. 4 points for Alvar, and nothing for Ericsson because Huff was the reserve. He's now at the race, so no longer in the top 10,
indeed.
and not impacting the points picture.
Yes, indeed. So technically speaking, we could have a very mixed up results depending on what happens in the next 8 laps. I want to say that is very aggressive weaving from him. That is the most aggressive weaving I think I've ever seen.
Well, evidently it's working for him. Otherwise, we do it. Right, here we go. Safety cars in this lap. So everyone has put their chips in. And we're now got to wait for the roulette wheel to spin one more time. Lady Luck will be watching on. Who will receive the cold shoulder and who will receive her sweetest smile? We are on the verge of finding out, Ben, with 7 laps to go. 7 being the number they put on slot wheels in Vegas. The innuendos are insane at this point in the Grand Prix, ladies and gents. But we are 7 laps in the flag now, and Dan is 7 laps away from potentially keeping this title fight alive for just a little bit longer. Green flag back out in Vegas. We're underway again in Sin City, and it's a charge down to turn 1. Che Pope. So Che Pope, Dan Che Imrie on the run to the first corner. Back into racing once again. Yellow flag in behind them. I think everyone's all okay. Reggie backing off.
Everyone's letting everyone
Blue
through.
flags,
It's just a shame with blue flags. It's a massive shame that isn't part of the game.
Dan's had a good restart. He's 7/10 in front of Che, and Imrie's right on Che's tail, so no progress made then between the Williams and the Sauber. Pope obviously is back in the picture now thanks to that whole thing, but he needs to get his skates on and get to work here. Same thing for Quigley, who's had a big second chance to him in this Grand Prix. Chances you don't often get in Vegas in any capacity. You don't really get a second chance in a city like this, so he's got to take full use of it as Imrie chases Che out of turn number 9 and up towards the 2 sweeping left and rights of turn 10 and 11.
Meanwhile, just further behind also, Zach. What's that? 10th round about to have a note.
Sorry, quickly for a challenge on Pope. Big time move there. I thought he was going to squeeze towards the wall.
Whoa. I've been squeezed into that wall myself, and it is not nice. I went airborne at one point.
Was that in this league or was that elsewhere?
That was elsewhere. But yeah, if you hit that wall, you're dead.
Yeah, I can imagine it. Do you know what? I feel like if that happened to you, I'd have remembered that. I'd have brought it up by now. We're 44 laps in.
You would have, yes.
6 laps to go and they cross the line. Dan has had his lead eaten into a bit more by Che, but Imri is still right behind both cars. He's going to need some battery left in him later on in this thing. So there should be a point, I should think, Ben, where these guys are going to start charging it back up again and trying to have full blast runs the flag. Imri 132.9, fastest lap of the race so far. Dan had it for a split second. Make it now belongs to Imri. DRS in play as Imri tries the outside through turns 1 and 2 into turn 3. Switch back on the knee potentially on corner exit and DRS to boot. There goes Imri to the inside. Almost got there. Che shuts the door on him and Imri's have to wait a bit longer to make that move for second place.
It does, yeah. His 10th cannon will not get past that kicks Albert. That kicks Albert is so rapid in a straight line. 10th cannon is struggling to make any moves whatsoever on those soft tyres.
And I dare say Alva might get there first if she's not careful potentially, but keep an eye on 10th in these closing laps as HB Cook continues to lead what has been that second train for much of the evening. DJ still in 6th place, still keeping up just with the race leaders, the top 5. I think might fall out of DRS, so might find himself either by himself in these closing laps on his lonesome, or perhaps might fall prey to the pack being led by HB Cook, who's now 2 seconds behind DJ. So it might get a bit of DRS. Could the Aston Martin still play into things, try and get their best result, one of their best results of the season? It's time to find out. With 5 laps from the end when they cross the line, DRS round this time, and Che and Dan might go back to swapping places unless Imri gets to them first.
Really good. His 10th cannon going to finally get past the Keats Alba.
You know what I'm looking at? I think
He did Imri up to 2nd as well.
And so one kicks Alba up, other kicks Alba down. 10th cannon makes the pass. Alba going to try and follow her through potentially. Thinks better, but can't quite get it. Isn't brave enough to go for a dive there. And you know what? In a corner like that, I don't blame him. Imri's now in 2nd place. Che's challenging on the outside there. There's a bit of contact through turn 17. Che hangs on to it. Quickly fastest lap. He's going to try and rejoin the fight. Pope with them too.
Oh,
DJ's
no. Dan!
Dan down the order. Down to P4.
Dan had a massive lock-up going into step 1, just went completely off the track. He's down to 4th.
He's down to P4, but Quigley is a reserve. Let's not forget. So Dan's still getting 3rd place this point, so it's not over just yet. But all of a sudden, he's in a fair bit more jeopardy because Pope is now in play. He goes quickly for 2nd place. Che in the lead. And now Imri falling down to 3rd place. Again, Quigley being in there doesn't impact the points picture. Dan is still where he needs to be to keep things rolling. But Pope is on his tail. Dan needs to get himself more involved here. But with Quigley and Imri going side by side, he's got a fantastic chance to do so. A penalty could kill things later on this Grand Prix for any of these 5 drivers. And DJ may get involved too.
I mean, Dan will be desperate to try and get round Quigley and Imri. But Imri's looking a lot more, shall we say, brave.
Yeah, he looked particularly racy there going through turns 10 11, weaving side to side, trying to find a way around Quigley. Che holds the lead, but Quigley, who of course went down the order earlier on the race, had to manually reset his pedals, mind you, and now is on course to try and win this race. Big train
He's
here.
got barely any battery whatsoever, though.
I'm fearing 4 wide here potentially if they get close enough. It's going to be very tight. As he quickly goes for it late on the inside on Quigley and takes the lead back. Can't go wide. There's Dan off kilter. Pope might try and corner exit. Dan keeps himself in front, but it's awfully tight here. 4 laps to go. Che to the outside now. Makes the pass on Quigley. Imri following him through. It's going to be so tight to end this thing off. Might go through right into the first corner. Imri's going to Quigley's going to try it to turn 1. 4 laps to go. It's still Che and Quigley side by side. Imri and Dan are there. And Pope is going to want anything of anyone. Grimio will be watching on, and I imagine biting his nails here at the prospect of what could still come his way in these closing laps. He needs Pope in front of Dan, is all he needs. Quigley is irrelevant to his title charge. As Imri and Che go battle for what will be the full-time race victory. They'll be the ones to get credited with the win and the points. Imri around the outside through turn 6 and into 7. He's still in front. It's so tight, but Imri gets back out in front of these guys.
What a way to make an overtake.
And Imri, I'm fearing, may get deja vu in these closing laps. You think back to last season's race where Imri was fighting a Haas going down towards the last corner. He was looking for his first win in about, I believe, 3 or 4 seasons. And the late contact then did him in. A race-ending collision for him now would have big impact, not just for him, but for Dan too. Dan needs these guys in front of him where he is. I mean, rather, Dan just needs one of these cars behind. DJ may also come back. DJ's in DRS range now. He might come back into play. HB Cook's back around 10th cannon as Imri now takes the lead away from Quigley. Che is in line behind them. Dan in P4, Pope in P5. There's 3 laps to go, Ben. It's still anyone's game.
It is anyone's game. Another penalty or so now Say if Imri would pick up a 3-second, he drops all the way down to 6.
The big relief for Dan. I think a penalty for anyone else in the top 5 except for him would do wonders right now, especially for Pope, who's still up his chuff. And I'm sure Pope knows what's at stake, but he wants that place, I think, more than anyone would. He's still hunting for his first win of the season. Imri's going for win number 3 here. Che is still going for a win. Dan has taken a few wins this season. Pope is still looking for win number 1. DJ is awfully close to these guys, and a number of penalties could play into his hand.
There we go.
That's Imri, and that'll be one of them.
There we go.
I have to see if anyone else is close, but yeah, Imri down the order, and that'll mean that Che takes the full-time race lead. Dan will now be in second place, Pope in third, so Dan's doing what he needs to do, but now he needs to get around his old teammate in order to win this thing, and hope that no one else around him, or hope that he doesn't get a penalty, but hope for a penalty from everyone else around him for the time being. Yellow flag. That is JB around one last time in this Grand Prix, but he's been okay for a fair few laps, but the soft tyres think wearing thin at this stage, and that'll be the end of JB's chances, obviously, if they weren't already over a fair few laps ago in this Grand Prix, some 20-25 laps back in this race.
Yeah, it looks like no one in the top 5 is close to a 3-second time penalty, so it looks like it's Imri that's going to really fall short of it. Massive shame for Imri. He showed fantastic tonight.
Led the mid portion of the Grand Prix from the first pit stop to the point, more or less around to the point where the safety car came out, as Quigley now challenging. I mean, it's not over yet. We could still yet see penalties from a number of drivers in the field here. Like I said, but I'll see if anyone's close. But for now, though, it's all right now. It's Quigley now. Che is there, and Dan's the inside. Dan might win this race yet. 2 laps to go in Vegas, and Dan might have thread. Oh, I thought he was going to thread the needle for a second there. Contact.
Oh, no.
Several cars touching, bunching up. Quigley sliding there through turns 1 and 2. And I think Dan's got damage. Is it Dan? I think Dan's got damage. No, he's okay. I think he's all right. Yeah, no, his name plate still on that car. He's all right.
That could have ended in disaster for only 3 of them.
I'm just double checking here. Yes, both end plates are valid on that car. He's okay. He'll carry on. Everyone's safe. And DJ's still in the picture. DJ's on course for a top 5 as it stands right now.
Top 4 if you count Quigley.
Yeah, oh yeah, even better. Big 12 points for Aston Martin. That'll likely put them quite a way in front, despite Ethan currently holding on to that last points paying place for Alpine.
Oh, 10th nearly dropped it.
Oh, it's going to be close. 10th into P7 now. Just say, yeah, good. Yeah, another good move. HB Cook again left to wonder. He's on hard tyres now. I mean, his tyres are perfectly fine for grip. The question is, has he got the pace later on? And will 10th tyres give way?
Yeah.
So,
the tyres are dying on that RB anyway.
So we've got a lap and a half left to go here. And we're coming on to what will be the 50th and final lap, Ben, of this Las Vegas Grand Prix. We've still got a number of cars that can win this thing. Imri gets back in front. Imri knows he more or less can't win this race now unless the 3 cars behind him, or I think 3 or 4, 5, 6 cars behind him get penalties at this stage now. It's a tall order for him to pull 3 seconds. I think he's got to try and just sort of, he may play equaliser here in these closing laps, as Dan is now leading the way in terms of, Imri, minus Imri's penalty, and Quigley out of the order for not being full-time. Dan's on course to win this race, but he's got a lap to go here, and Che is not done challenging him just yet. Pope behind, and DJ in P6 may try and steal something huge on this final lap.
As 10th tyres start to die as well, as TJ is flying the RB now. The senior team against a junior team in real life, as you could say.
That's one way of putting it. Yeah, I mean, there goes DJ challenging Pope going into turn number 5. Couldn't get it for the time being. Imri, or I think at the very least, want to win this race on track if he can. I think he's in the prime position to do so. He's got more battery. In a rare sight, Imri has got more battery right now than anyone in this top 5. I can't remember the last time I said that in any capacity. But he's going to have a good run down the strip towards turn 14 for the last time, and I dare say he'll win this race on track. But you never know. We've seen scraps go right up to the line on previous laps, but someone's got to pull away, and it might be Imri, who's got to now find himself in the attacking seat against the Haas, which he was taking on last season. So here we go now, last run down the strip. Dan's on course to take the big points from this race and keep the title rolling, and he may lose out it to both Che and Pope. They can stop him. Che most likely, Pope I should think not. He's too busy fighting DJ. Imri going for the move to the outside of Quigley into the last corner. Last pro braking zone on the circuit. He's going for it. Quigley goes across him. Dan keeps it nice and smooth behind him. Imri's in a big charge here on the last corner, sprinting towards the line. Quigley's on course to win the race, but Imri will go to the inside. Quigley can't cover him off. Imri's going to get the flag first, it seems. Out of the last corner, Imri takes the flag, but Dan will come through and take full points. Quigley, if Imri penalty, let's not forget. Quigley across the line first, then Dan will take the full-time victory from P2. it's a really weird one where we got Imri first across the line, penalty for him, quickly leads him full time. Dan comes through, takes full 25 points, which means the title carries on. 113 points now, the gap between Grumio and Dan. Che in third place in the race across the line, Pope fourth, DJ fifth. Big stuff for him. And yeah, a big end to the Grand Prix there. That was very, very fun. Ah, wow. Hell of a race.
What race? What? One hell of a race. Is I've struggled to get my words out for the first time this season.
Oh, yeah, you did.
We've been treated.
You've done all right tonight. I just realised that.
Yes, well, for the first time, but that is a very weird thing to see. Obviously, quickly reserve driver Imri taking the flag first, but then dropping down all the way down to 7th with that penalty.
Yeah, I mean, I think Imri will be ruining that last mistake that got him the penalty. But I mean, yeah, I mean, as far as we know of now, the title fight carries on. I shouldn't think that Dan will drop lower than third place, even with the penalty. I mean, you never know really, but at the minute we're looking as though Dan is the winner of your race tonight in terms of scoring the full points. Quickly though, the game put him across the line first. Dan second, Che third, Pope the P4, DJ, HP Cook, Imri there, P7 in the end, Alvo 8th, TJ 9th, and Ethan rounds out your top 10. And it's 10th Cannon P11 to take the last point on offer when quickly gets removed from the order. Cottney P12 in the end before I miss out on points, gutting for them. Ericsson P13 and it's JB P14, Red JP 15, both cars classified but a lap down. Half lucky, Grumio and Cott, your retirees in tonight's race. Wow, just very chaotic, very enjoyable for us to watch.
Yes.
And we carry on as
That'll
we
be
have
thinking.
done in the past. Yeah, I mean, that was just crazy stuff there at the very end of the race. And sometimes
Then I'll be thinking it's not over till it's over.
Yeah. I was watching a Rocky montage earlier today. That makes perfect sense. Makes good timing for that something to come into play. But I mean, yeah, just sheer brilliance on offer from almost everyone in the field today. And obviously, you just think the complete rarity from what happened to Grumio in this race today. And I dare say it'll be quite some time before we see that happen again. But I mean, yeah, wowzers to cap us off in this Grand Prix. The posters interviews are open, so hopefully we'll see if anyone does indeed hop in to join us and just sort of give their perspective on what was a very exciting race.
Entertainment capital of the world just never fails to disappoint in Formula One, does it, Zach?
Excitement with a capital E, I think, is the only way of putting tonight's race. Perhaps with many capital letters used in that word. But yeah, I mean, we'll see if we can get see if we can get a chat with anyone. Contrasting opinions up and down the field as Red J is in. Red J, obviously, things a lap down at the end, things didn't quite go to plan in this Grand Prix, but I mean that last restart was a heck of a time, and the race as a whole was quite chaotic. Give us your take on it.
Yeah, it was a good race. It was really fun. Really enjoyed it until it messed up with the safety car at the end. I pitted when the three leaders pitted, so it meant that I stayed lapped. I should have gone on for an extra lap because the safety car ended up being out for like 7 laps in the end, which was just really frustrating. So I should have stayed out for another lap behind Cottney, and then I would have had the opportunity to unlap myself. Apparently, I could have unlapped myself anyway, because I know Imri in front of me was going off track on purpose. So frustrating to know that I could have unlapped myself that way as well. But good to know for the future. But aside from that, it was a nice race. It was a good. Aside from not really having too much in the straights from the setup, the rest of the car felt pretty good in the corners. And it was nice to battle, with Cottney and with JB as well. A few incidents as well that I was able to avoid. So yeah, it was pretty good, to be fair.
Do you know what? I've completely forgotten. You've got a tendency to answer all my questions for me before I've asked them. So yeah, I mean, but that's part of my job. Obviously, 5 more rounds to go. The addition of a few extra races on the calendar for the last 3 rounds of the season. If there's a track in particular you want to get a reserve appearance in it, is there anyone that you've got in mind in particular?
Out of the normal tracks, what's left? I've completely forgot. We've got Abu Dhabi, Qatar. Not looking forward to either of them. And is that it from the main calendar? It is, isn't it?
Yep, and it's just the Silverstone, Zandvoort, and Austria reverse races at the very end.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Qatar actually, because I quite like that final sector in Qatar. I don't mind that, to be fair. I don't know whether I'll do the reverse races. I'm not sure, just because I don't really like. I don't know. There's just something about it I don't really like so much with that. You know, I think obviously I get the reason behind why we're doing the reverse format races, and obviously it does add a little bit more extra excitement. And I suppose now that the championship is decided, it is obviously going to be a little bit more fun. So maybe I might try one of them out, but I'd probably have to say at the moment it would be Qatar.
Well, there we go. Hopefully we'll be able to get a spot in there for you next week. But obviously fair play to make it to the flag in this Grand Prix. I mean, this is a race you finished that Grumio hasn't, so that makes an achievement you can put on the wall. I think.
Do you know something? Because I saw that he had the incidents. I don't know what happened to him, and then he went on for like an extra 10 or 15 laps. And I was thinking to myself, I'm going to actually finish ahead of Grumio in a race, but now he called it quits, and I can't really blame him, to be honest. But I suppose there is that little something that I can probably have for like the first time ever. So that was quite good.
So still an enjoyable evening then at the office for Red J here in Vegas. We're coming now next up to your driver who came out in 6th place in the race. That is HP Cook, who comes through with another enjoyable result in Vegas. And yeah, I mean, the point streak carries on, HP Cook. It continues on for you, mate. Is there any end to that in sight?
I hope not. Obviously, it could have been miles better today if things went our way and we actually got a decent bit of luck in that race, but you don't in some aspects. But yeah, hopefully it carries on, but you never know with races.
Obviously, 100% Grand Prix, much different to how it has been in the past previously in Vegas. Was it a challenge getting through this race, or were you comfortable with how you're managing things?
It was a very comfortable race. You know, obviously we had the interesting quality session I think I've ever been a part of, where I think about 7 cars decided to order at once. We're all trying to get out of the way of each other, so that was interesting. I had a decent first stint, and then me and DJ pulled away. You know, we were looking like we're going to be 6th and 7th for ourselves, and possibly I was a 5th with reserve. But then, just when you know it, with this lead, it will just throw something where somebody decides to either spin it or whatever happened with Hope, I'm not sure, into a wall, and then all your effort just gets ruined. And then, when you don't have any other tyres apart from hards, it's like Max Verstappen back at Spain last year. You're just helpless.
Well, I'm pleased for one thing that you didn't then do a Max in response and go and punt to Mercedes, because that wouldn't have been enjoyable to watch. But yeah, I mean that late safety car was quite chaotic, but he still came through with a good few points in the bag. Obviously, Imri took a late penalty, so that makes things a bit tougher for you guys in closing on Mercedes with Dan, as far as I'm aware, taking full points. So I think it may have dropped a few points to Mercedes, but again, not a ton in there. The confidence is still sky high, as I'm guessing. There's no change there.
No, we've always, I can't speak. We've always got confidence in ourselves and his ability. You know, we were talking of this, and obviously Imri's happy with the result, even though they got a 3 second, which he thinks he had to remove. But obviously, then there's something else that might have happened with him. But no, we've got confidence. We know that Merck obviously they won today, but next week they might have a poor race. So next week it might also go wrong for them. So we just got to keep going, see what results are at end of seasons. That's the only results that matter at end of the day.
And thinking short term to Qatar next week, is that a track you're confident you can perform at?
I'm very 50-50. One race I'll turn up, one race I'm like struggling and questioning what's going off. So, but I have had some decent results there. It's the track limit hell. I think you'll see a lot of track limit pens next week, but hopefully, because there's so much runoff, there's barely any safety cars, which in one sense to be good, in another sense to be bad, but I'm more on it. I'm happy with no safety cars.
So a real sort of coin toss there in terms of how HP Cook's race will go next week in Qatar. It's a race you can catch next time out on this channel on what will be the 27th of April. The Qatar Grand Prix happening same time, same place on the Zach RC channel. Ben, anything to add before we sign off?
No, other than it's been a cracking race, and we look forward to you all next week.
Yep, next week's race, the Qatar Grand Prix, 5 rounds to go, and the prospect once again of perhaps seeing that 11th title wrapped up for Grumio at long last in this season after a good few weeks away from that championship. But that'll do us then for coverage tonight of the Racers Driving League. Hope you guys did enjoy this evening's race. If you did, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more future audio content. Have an absolutely fantastic evening, and we shall see you guys next time. Have a good week, and goodbye.